Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to RetroIsland.com. The only site for everything retro. The Retro Island Network for everything retro. RetroIsland.com. Gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of I Got Gameplay. Yes, it's me, it's that Michael B. Han person. And I'm here with also the other sexiest man on radio, but not as sexy as me, of course, Mr. Oliver Hughes. Say hello, Ollie.
Thank you very much.
Yes, I know. Yeah, he's basically the more sexy than me, apparently. He gets all the ladies, migrates over us. I'm usually his wingman. But we're not talking about that today. We're talking about the other man whose voice actually makes women's ovaries explode. Yes, it is him, Mr. Excess Gaming Podcast himself, Xander Scullion.
Hey everyone, yeah, it's great to be back. I wasn't on last week's episode. I was at Anawave, and it was a convention in Raleigh, North Carolina. Had a lot of fun, but I had to say it's great to be back on
Betrayal! Betrayal! Betrayed me!
I'm only joking, Xander. And also, speaking of sexy as well, we have the man who has the sexiest beard in gaming. He is the one and the only gentleman that basically has his own rose-colored reviews and Let's Plays, and is also the host of the radio show and has a gaming show on Wednesdays with Mr. Jeremy McDougall, a.k.a. the sexy Canadian, which is called The Retro Island Presents Top Tier Games, where they do reviews and loads of other stuff. And so he is the man himself, Mr. Travis Goss.
Salutations all, and how's everybody doing tonight?
Well, you sound like you have just blown your load, Travis. Are you okay?
I'm really tired. I had a really busy afternoon. I'm worn out, but
He's worn out, gents. He's worn out. Whoa.
I had to help my dad put up a canopy tent in our driveway. So,
yeah, I bet
that took a lot of construction.
Something, isn't it? That's sex talk. I can tell. I have my dad put up some shelves, inverted commas, and I'm really exhausted, inverted commas. No, but actually he was doing that. He's not lying. Here you go. And we're basically, as we're playing this episode, talking, we are going to be playing a little bit of Mario Kart 8, of course, because this episode is about Mario Kart, and what way to get into the spirit of things than myself and Ollie actually playing some Mario Karts while we're doing this. So if anybody else wants to do that, guys, you can do. And also, I'll give you the pin number for our very own tournament that you can actually log into right now, play some games. You can actually play some games with myself, with all the other hosts on I Got Gameplay as well. And also associate yourself with people from the Happy Console Gamer Forum, because it's the Happy Console Gamer Tourney. So it's very, very fun as well. We've already been playing it and beating the living crap out of one another. So speaking of beating the crap out of one another as well, we have another host from the Radio Show, Mr. Craig Kellerman.
Hey, what's going on?
Craig.
So you guys forgot about me.
Are you feeling a lot better, my friend?
Yeah, I'm feeling 100 times better. I've been shoveling pills down my throat, trying to make myself better, so I think it's working.
Or are you just shoveling pills down your throat just because the point of it, you know? I need more weed.
Well, I usually do that.
I need more drugs. Speaking of drugs as well, we've got a gentleman from the Pixels Without Borders who's been whipping Xander's butt on Mario Kart, and all of our butts actually, on Mario Kart quite recently. And he is Mr. Michael Matthews, aka Moosh. Michael, you're a special guest on the show today. Welcome.
Evening, people. Thanks for having me.
Oh, no problem, my friend. The reason why we have you here, of course, is basically to talk Mario Kart, because you are an avid Mario Kart player, and we had the last match we actually had on the tournament, basically the Happy Console tourney, was very, very intense, wasn't it, Xander?
Oh yeah, it was really funny because at first like me and Burhan were playing and we were like, oh, this is fun, but then once Mosh got in, dude, oh my gosh, all gloves were off and I kept falling off course.
Yeah, Xander was just like, we were just like kicking the living shit out of each other, and Xander needed a smoke break afterwards. That was sex for him, I think.
You had to take a nice long drag and reminisce on the good times.
Yeah, the good times when he was winning. Yeah, I'm so bad. The thing is, I had to sort of find my way around this game, and we're going to talk a little bit about that actually as well, including some of my experiences of playing this game, because I've had a very funny story about this. But we can talk about that in a little bit once we finish the news, of course. So let's do the news. We are waiting for the man with the biggest dick in the world, Mr. Zach Latour. For some reason, he's not here at the moment. He should be soon. Let's all pray for the cells of everybody that he impregnates. So let's do some news, people. Mr. Xander Scullion, what's in the news this week?
Well, I just got some very interesting news. This is a couple of hours ago. That Call of Duty Advanced Warfare is listed for the Wii U on an E3 Insider website.
What? Okay,
yeah.
I don't know whether to be happy or sad about that, because I'm not really a fan of Call of Duty.
Yeah, I'm not either, but this is interesting. It says the E3 Insider website has listed Call of Duty Advanced Warfare for the Wii U. While this is an official confirmed nation, this is an official outlet for the E3 2014 games listing below, and it's talking about some more games. So it is a rumor. I wouldn't say it's fact yet, but I think if it does come out, I think that would really help the Wii U. Because it would help the quote unquote hardcore gamers getting into the Wii U.
Yeah, it'll be finally nice to actually see something come out on the Wii U alongside of all the other consoles, and not like 6 months later.
You said no, it won't, Ollie. So why do you think that?
Personally, I think hardcore gamers see the Wii and Nintendo itself as kind of a childish console. So even if you look at it, they just assume it's a bad knockoff and won't play it. They're dedicated to their between PlayStation and Xbox. The Wii, the Nintendo is just a side character who watches. They don't even care. The people who play the Wii aren't gamers.
But I think that's a great way to be around it, though. Now I think people who play the Wii are gamers. I think they're the truest form of gamers, because the fact is, if we've seen, look how well Mario Kart 8 has done. I was even being told that it's actually sold out in most of the shops down here in the United Kingdom. So it has done a very, very well in terms of first day of sale. So in order for the game to, for people who don't care about it, it seems like a lot of people are buying it.
Well, I think it's just also, there's just been this weird, for a couple of years now, since the N64, there's been this weird Nintendo stigma that's just been kind of lumbering everywhere, and some of it is Nintendo's fault. I will admit, I love Nintendo, but they have done some pretty stupid things in the past. But
yeah, and they have done a lot of damage. One of the things is the whole YouTube situation, which we don't have to go on about because we've talked about it a number of times.
Also,
Speaking of YouTube and Nintendo, did you hear about what Nintendo's about to start doing, though?
No. What are they about to start doing?
They're about to have their own video streaming service.
Really?
It's pretty much like Nintendo's going to try to be the next Machinima, pretty much.
So partner up with them?
Yeah, so pretty much you'll be making videos on their YouTube channel. Nintendo gets half of what you make, and you make the other half.
I like this.
That explains a lot. It explains why they were going after YouTube people doing Nintendo games, though.
But that's kind of a cheap way of doing it, isn't it? It's like, yeah, we're going to come after you, but do you want to be our friends?
Yeah.
Well, I think it might have been something that's probably. I mean, this is something that probably hasn't happened overnight. It's not like Iwata woke up and he was like, it'd be really awesome. I think it's something they've probably been planning for probably a couple, maybe like 2 years, and that's kind of when this whole YouTube thing started happening.
Yeah.
So maybe they were doing that to kind of save their own asses, but the only problem is they were doing it and not really informing anyone, so it was making Nintendo look like a bunch of dicks.
Yeah. But that's the thing as well. I think... Oh, someone's ringing.
Yeah, wait, sorry.
No worries. One of the things I had an issue with was the fact that they were doing this a lot without actually talking to people. There was no yes or no about it, They just wanted to do what they wanted to do, and no one got a word in edgeways. But it's still a good thing. It's progressive, and that's what we want to see. And I'm going to talk about my own little nice story about Nintendo in a little bit. So, Zad, what does everyone else think about this? Would you guys sign up for a partnership with Nintendo?
Yeah,
I would. I would definitely. I mean, that would be. It's funny because I'm so busy putting my videos on YouTube and Retro and Limb Network, and I know some people have asked me in the past if I was going to open up a Daily Motion account, and it's just too much. It's too much for me, to process all those uploads and stuff. But with Nintendo, I would definitely do it with them. I mean, it's Nintendo. It'd be freaking awesome.
My question is, what if you say you have a YouTube channel? I mean, most of you guys do. I think all of you guys do. And you upload games from Sony or Microsoft. Will that breach a contract with Nintendo?
Well, not really. Not really, because basically, if you're putting up any video content, like when you're doing Nintendo games, I just put up my Mario Kart 8 Let's Play video earlier today, part 1, of course, and it automatically got flagged by Nintendo, not by the content, but by a song that was in the video, which I thought was kind of peculiar. So if you're doing videos for them, I'm sure they would say, okay, that's fine.
But was the song in the game?
It was a song that was in the game.
Yeah, what they do is they put a copyright for the images and the music. I had one where I was doing the Super Mario 3D World Let's Play, and they flagged me for both the music and also the game itself, the images. And the funny thing about it is, if you actually look at their games now, they actually come with copyright notices saying that all images and all characters are owned by Nintendo. All rights reserved.
What about the Mario Kart arcade games you've been doing? Do they get
no, because it's Namco. Namco Bandai and I have actually got an agreement in place. So I can actually advertise their stuff.
It's interesting though, because when I put up my Mario Kart Double Dash videos, those did not get flagged at all. Which I thought was
they're usually pretty good with retro content, depending if the game is something that they're going to release on the virtual console or not. They're pretty good with the retro stuff.
Yeah, they probably went after you because the game just came out yesterday.
That, and also the fact that they only, as Anna was talking about, they've got their own sort of upload service in terms of the game itself, which is basically you can upload 30-second clips and they won't flag you on it. I know. I ended up getting destroyed by a mushroom and now I'm in it for plates. I know. But it's a good thing. It's a positive step. And I'm glad to see Nintendo taking this step. I've got a lot of renewed faith back in Nintendo. Quite recently, they did me a solid. And again, as I said, I'm not going to reveal it yet, and I'll explain my situation in a minute. But let's go on to a bit more news. Right, so Xander, anything else?
Yeah, also there's another rumor that there's going to be a Resident Evil revealed at the next E3, but it's not going to be Resident Evil 7.
Yeah, apparently they're doing a game that's going to be involving Alice, which will be part of the movie adaptation.
Oh no!
Of the franchise.
Oh no!
Mila Jovovich has been rumored that her character is going to become canon.
Oh no!
Jesus Christ!
You know what? It's going to be exactly what we saw in Resident Evil 6 during the Chris missions. It's going to be like the Bayism of Resident Evil. It's going to be explosions. She's going to be like running on the walls and drop kicking zombies in the face and.
Yeah, and the thing is, you know, it's one of those things you really. I'm not a fan of the Resident Evil film franchise. They have a purpose, but I just feel they've just dragged on a bit too much. You know?
Yeah. When they started going into the sort of the Resident Evil 4, Resident Evil 5 type things where they weren't just zombies anymore, they were like possessed.
Yeah, and the thing that bugged me a lot was they made the majority of the characters fucking emo. You know,
even Nemesis.
Leon.
Even Nemesis was freaking emo.
Yeah, and it just pissed me off. Like Leon was like, "I'm doing this for a greater purpose."
He was always emo.
You know, don't judge me. Don't judge me. I'm sitting there watching the guy playing him, and I believe it was the actor from Lost. I don't know what his name was. But it just pissed me off. It was just like, shut the fuck up, stop it now.
you know though, I will say one thing, and it involves Capcom and it involves a movie or in this case a web series. If you guys are huge Street Fighter fans, please do yourself a solid and watch Street Fighter Assassin's Fist. It is by far one of the best video game shows or movie adaptations I've ever seen. It was freaking awesome.
Yeah, I've already started watching it.
Are we going to have a Godzilla moment, Xander, where we're going to agree to disagree?
No. Honestly. See, when I watch video game movies, and I think a lot of you guys are like this. There's certain things that you nitpick, and there's certain things like, well, that didn't happen in the game, or that's not a part of it. The people that made this show, you could tell that they were generally huge Street Fighter fans, and they take every single detail and they explain every single bit. Like, they explain why Ryu's bandana goes from white to red. They even have Easter eggs from, Alpha. And, oh my gosh, I don't want to spoil too much of it, but, I mean, each episode's around, 10, 13 minutes long, so they're really short episodes, and there's, I think there's 12 episodes, so, a good hour, you can finish the whole series. It's like watching a movie, and it is amazing. And the effects are really, really fantastic.
Brilliant. So, guys, if you want to make sure that you check that out, if you want to join in on our news segment today, you can do it on 718-664-9265. That's 718-664-9265, and do it now. I was going to bring you it now, but I'm probably not going to do it because my hands are kind of full at the moment.
That's what she said.
That's exactly what she said. Actually, she says my mouth was full. Anyway.
I actually say that. You're a retard.
It's kind of Stallone impersonation. Anyway, let's move on from that subject. Now, Xander, any more news from us before we move to one of our other lovely hosts?
My last bit of news is we actually have a release date for Retron 5.
Thank frick for that. Is it going to be priced at £500 because it's HD? I'm just joking.
No, it's still, because that was also an issue as well with the Retron 5. They boosted up $30, but if you have it reserved from Amazon and you reserved it back when it was $100, you're still going to get it for $100. But right now it's retailed for $130.
Man,
that's not too bad.
$30 extra isn't bad. I mean, $130 is a good price to begin with.
Yeah.
Well, it's better than $500. What IGN was trying to tout with that bloody other console. What was it called, Xander? Because you did a copy of it.
That analog NS
ND
system. Yeah. Oh yeah. It was basically the guts from a Nintendo put inside of a casing made of space metal.
And given a HD cable.
Yeah, it was pretty. I think it's stupid, but it is what it is.
You guys need to see the adverts. Where I've really got a firm belief that IGN have basically either got into bed with these guys, or they own a stake in it. Because every single time they do a video, they're like, "Well, I'm going to buy it. You don't have to buy it. If you don't want great quality in HD graphics, then that's on you. But we want to do that," and it's just like, really.
Well, I even had some people in group pages that were just like, "Well, this is the console for the real retro gaming enthusiast." I'm like, no, it's not. No, it's not.
The thing that most people don't understand, right? These games have a shelf life like anything else. You're never going to play them and get them in the quality that you want, and that's the truth. even if you try and upscale something, it's still going to be the same quality as it was when you previously bought it. The Retron 5 was put together in order to allow you to play these games on a HD television, right? So it emulates them, which is fine. If someone's sitting there going, oh, but it plays it in true graphics, this is what serious gamers play. Serious gamers will not spend $500, and I'll tell you that for a fact. Unless it's a brand new console, they will not spend $500. And don't tell me that piece of shit is a brand new console. It's not. Right? So don't sit there and try and insult my intelligence by saying, well, I would spend $500 on it. Unless you're the Prime Minister's son or your parents are very, very well off, I doubt anyone's going to pay $500 for this console.
The thing is with the Retron, for $500 you could probably buy the actual systems.
Well, you could probably buy the actual systems in bulk for £500. You know, it's the Retron 5 is a cheaper alternative at $130, and I probably would trust the Retron 5 more than I would trust the Analog ND.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's good. So what does everyone think of that? Is everyone kind of happy with the fact that we're finally going to see the Retron 5 in all its glory?
Well, I'm really excited. It's been a long wait.
Well, you kind of kept yourself up to date with your Ouya, didn't you, Xander? So you managed.
Yeah. I mean, I love my Ouya, and but yeah, I've been waiting for this Retron 5. I've been waiting for this Retron 5 for so long. I know some people have gotten kind of pissed off about the wait, but honestly, like when I kept seeing that it was.
Ever. Do you know when you just like you wait and then you finally get it, and you're sitting there thinking,
No.
Well, my thing is I didn't mind the wait because they were trying to make the console better.
Yeah.
And that's what I was trying to explain to some people, because I would get pissed off. I'm like, oh shit, it's delayed again. But at the same time, it's like I would wait for it and have a good product. Then the dude like something like say the Neo Geo X, which came out and was a disappointment.
Yeah, it was rushed to hell. It was cheap parts, and it wasn't worth the money that was even made on it. And even SNK Playmore tried to get the console shut down, and I believe there's still an illegal battle trying to do that because it's not a representation of their brand. And I understand that totally. It's doing more damage to their brand than it is being a positive out there. And for people who are, for instance, real collectors, even they'll probably sit there and look at it and think, oh my god, what the fuck have I bought? Why have I wasted my money on this piece of shit?
Oh yeah.
I know you probably look at it every day and think, oh my god, what have I done?
The only thing I like about it is the arcade stick, because I can hook it up to my computer and play Neo Geo games through an emulator.
So you got like 100, how much did you pay for it?
I think it was $220.
So you got a $220 arcade stick.
Pretty much.
Totally awesome. So, what does everyone else think? Are they gonna? Does this help you look forward to the Retron 5? Are you gonna buy one?
Oh hell yeah!
I'm definitely gonna buy one. It's just like all your video games all in one spot, so you don't have to like have like a bunch of retro game systems lying around. You just play them all in one area, I guess. You know.
The freaking spaghetti wire fire hazard behind your CRT televisions.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you could still you could still model your old systems out, but you don't have to have them all hooked up, and you don't have to keep switching wires and stuff.
Yeah, and I know Robman would probably love to get something like that, because he was saying that how much he loves his old systems, but he doesn't want to keep them all out. He wants to keep them preserved, and it's a great way of doing it. You know, it means you don't have to pay repair costs. If something happens with Retron 5 and it needs repairing, at least you've got cover to repair that system. You know, you don't have to find parts for your NES or find parts for your GameCube or for your Mega Drive, should I say, for your GameCube. Slip of the tongue there, people, slip of the tongue. They're not going to have a GameCube part.
That'd be sick, though.
That would be. I think they've done enough, though. But yeah, the day, you know, for your Mega Drive, for your Master System, you can still play those games that you hold dear, that you want to play, and play them without having to take out your old system. So it's a good thing. And at the $130 price point, it's pretty good. So moving on from that, Mr. Travis Goss, what's in the news this week?
Well, since it's a lot of good things about Nintendo, another good thing that's coming out here soon is a multi-tap adapter for the Wii U that will connect GameCube controllers to it.
Ooh, I've heard of this.
Oh, man, I'm really excited about this. This is all because of the upcoming release of Super Smash Bros. For the Wii U. And it's just been recently announced. I have no idea when it's going to be coming out, but it's going to be real soon from what I understand. Now, what I'd like to know is, when it comes to Super Smash Bros., I prefer actually playing it with an arcade stick. That's just me. I mean, it's okay to use a GameCube controller because, of course, with Melee and that. But I've always enjoyed it with an arcade stick. What do you guys think of this?
For me,
Well,
sorry, go on.
No, go ahead.
I've always played Smash with the GameCube controller because I started Smash on GameCube. So for me, I think it's a really, really good idea for people who are just used to playing it that way. But the bad side to it is it'll probably throw up the price of old GameCube controllers.
That's another thing. That is a big negative on that, because it will probably end up giving these GameCube controllers more sort of an impression that, like, oh, I need a GameCube controller. There's an urgency to have them. I need this. And people are going to put the price up for controllers that you usually can get for like $5.
Actually, I need to get a GameCube controller, a new one, because the one I've got, it's a third-party GameStop controller that I got.
Well, buy it before the adapter actually runs out on price point. Ah, crap on 50.
Wait, is that the one of the small ones you're talking about, Travis?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was fighting with that the whole time I was playing my Double Dash Let's Play.
Well, I was gonna say, because of this whole thing, Nintendo might release like retro controllers, like might make new GameCube controllers. You know, especially if it works. I mean, they're making an adapter. Might as well make some newer games work with the GameCube controller and release new controllers.
Well, if you guys watch the multi-tap, it actually, the GameCube controller that it shows is not a Nintendo GameCube controller. I think it's whatever company's making that multi-tap. If you guys look at it, it's not an official Nintendo. So I think when you get the multi-tap, I think it's going to come with the multi-tap and one controller. That's what it looks like. So that'd be kind of cool.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's how it should be.
It's also what's pretty cool is there's a PDP wired fight pad that's going to be that was recently announced for E3, and it's a redesigned GameCube controller, only it's wireless. No, wait, hold on. It works like the classic controller, but by plugging into the Wii remote. So that's really great. You know, a nice alternative.
You know, with the GameCube multi-tap though, you know what it kind of makes you think of? You guys know that there's been also rumors that have been talking about putting GameCube games on the Wii U.
Yeah, I know.
That'd be great.
That'll be good as long as they price them right.
That was on a leaked press release. That was on the internet.
So I mean, that kind of makes the rumor a little bit more believable. I mean, because you got to think about it. They're releasing this multi-tap for like Melee, but you'd think they'd look at the bigger picture too and think of their virtual console market as well.
Would they be?
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know if they're making actually the disc work, but like they're probably put more digital releases.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Like on the virtual console, you can go on there and you buy like Mario Sunshine HD and play with your GameCube controller. That'd be freaking awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was going to say, would it be the same games, or would it be like what they've done with Final Fantasy X and like just HD it?
No, there's the actual files from the disc.
You know, it'd be great. I wonder if the multi-tap, the controller would work with the Legend of Zelda Wind Waker HD game.
It could. I mean, I don't see why it shouldn't.
Or if it works with the Wavebird.
Yeah.
There might be a patch for it or something.
Very true. Now, let's move on from that, guys, and talk about the next bit of news. Mr. Goss, do you have anything else for us?
That was pretty much it. I mean, we covered like the main ones right there, and of course, obsessing over Mario Kart 8, but that's about it.
Hey, you know what? I love Mario Kart 8, and I love obsessing over that. But I'm literally enjoying this game so much. I think I'm driving Oliver and crazy.
Participating would be more a thing rather than enjoying. You should get a participation medal.
Thank you. It's basically saying that I'm playing shit.
You're third place against the CPU.
Yeah, okay. I'm trying at the moment. I'm kind of like multitasking at the moment. Okay, so let's go on for the next bit of news. Mr. Michael Matthews, do you have some news for us?
The news.
We'll come back to you, my friend. We'll come back to you. Craig, what about you?
All right, I got a couple of news stories. One thing is, I mean, I know you guys are going to be so busy with your Wii U, you're probably not even going to be playing PlayStation. But on Monday, they're pretty much shutting down the online service for maintenance for like 6 hours.
Oh my God! The phone world is going to collapse for PlayStation owners.
Hey, that's epic.
No, it's pretty important. I mean, it's going to be during prime time gaming hours too, so. It's gonna suck if you're a PlayStation. I mean, this where it goes for PlayStation 4 too, PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4.
Okay, so that is a big thing for those people. Hopefully, you're not gonna get really pissed off. And for those people playing the PlayStation and wondering what to do while it's offline, read a book. Or play Mario Kart.
Buy a Wii U and play fucking Mario Kart 8.
Yeah.
All right.
So
I got
So yep, continue.
So I got another little piece of news here. You guys remember the guys who unveiled the ET New Mexico landfill, right?
Yes.
Now they're going to sell 700 of the 1,300 copies found in the museum. So they're going to rate the games and then sell them online. Probably
rate the games. I was like, man, these people are going to make love to those games.
No, they're going to rate the games like, you know, and quality or whatever, and then sell them to you. And it's probably going to be really expensive.
I'm wondering why Atari hasn't just come out and said, hey, that's our fucking stock.
Well, wouldn't it be after, I think...
They still own the material. They still own it. It's still theirs. I'm surprised they haven't come out and just said, you can't do this. And these guys are basically raiding a landfill and selling... and truthfully, I would not buy ET for that, for a freaking astonishing price. If there's multiple copies out there, it means it's not mint. Just so you know, peeps.
Yeah.
Okay.
Doesn't it go back like 30 years? Then you can't really... I think it's like 20, 25 years on intellectual properties. Then you have to either renew it or it becomes public.
Very, very true. I think that is the case. So, good.
Like squatters' rights.
Yes, squatters' rights, as Oliver was just saying. So, anything else you got for us there? Is everyone else like disappointed by this? Is everyone going to buy ET?
I actually want to get a copy. I'm still going to get a copy of ET just because, you know, it's a good game. Don't be, you know, it gets a lot of flack for its poor programming, all that stuff. But we all know the story about the short time it took to program the game, and not a lot of it went into it. It was pretty much designed by one guy.
Yeah.
But it's still a good game.
Oliver, go get me a game, and then we're going to put it in a landfill.
I'll make you a game. Fine.
You have 6 weeks.
You have 6 weeks to make it.
How much are you going to pay me?
5p.
£10 million.
5p.
£10 million.
It's non-negotiable. 5p. That's probably the amount that actually paid that guy for ET. They were just like, Schnell, make games.
You're German, Robert.
It is.
Did you just lose that entire cup?
I think I did. So, Xander, what about you? Are you going to get a copy of ET?
I already have a copy of ET.
There you
I
go.
bought it at a thrift shop in the box with the manual for $2.
Wow.
Wow.
Bargain.
So yeah, there you go. Xander Scott.
But you know what I might do? I might throw some dirt on it and sell it on eBay for $10,000. Like, oh, this was in the landfill of New Mexico, guys.
And it's rated by VGM.
Yeah.
You know, it's so highly rated that Xander Scullion has to sell it for 10 billion pounds.
I think you've just kind of given yourself away saying it online on the radio.
Whoopsie. So the plan has crumbled.
9 million pounds.
Schnell!
I'll sell it for $11.
I'd buy that.
11.50.
I'd buy that for $1.
I'll buy that for... I think we have that. Do we have that on the board?
Yeah, I think we do.
Yeah, let's find that and just say that.
Yeah, I'm contributing.
Yeah, you are contributing, Ollie. What is it under, Travis? I can't see it.
I'll look for it.
Ah, there you go.
I'd buy that for $1.
There you go, people. So if you want to spend $700 on a worthless game, go and spend it on ET. So Craig, any other news?
Sure. Oculus VR and Samsung are collaborating on a virtual reality device that uses Samsung's high-resolution OLED phone screens as its display. Sources close to both companies. And according to the report, the partnership between the two companies will give Samsung early access to Oculus's mobile software development kit, while Oculus will get early access to Samsung's next generation screens with resolutions that are higher than 1080p.
Oh my god, is it like 4K, 4.5, 10K, million K?
Probably.
Okay.
But think about that though, that's pretty cool for like virtual reality, video games, and like the future of that sort of thing. That's really awesome.
Virtual reality games on Facebook, like virtual reality Farmville using the Oculus Rift, because didn't Facebook buy them out?
Oh, yeah, they did, didn't they?
Yes.
Okay.
There's only one good thing I've heard about the Oculus Rift, and that was the story that Alpha Omega Sin shared about the person that this woman was dying of cancer, and she actually got to put on the virtual reality device and actually walk around and enjoy her last days in a virtual reality. I thought that was really cool, but that's really the only good thing I've ever heard about this thing. Other than that,
if you could do that,
buying them out, that was it. Because Mark Zuckerberg had no fucking idea what he's doing with the fucking thing. He's like, oh, we could sell stuff online using.
Well, he just knows that it'll make money. I mean, it's like you're guaranteed to like.
But it's like Steve Jobs buying a VHS and saying this will make money. Yeah, it did.
No, it's not.
It's not about the money. It's about the premise. It's about its purpose.
Yeah, but when it comes down to the bottom line is the dollar.
Agreed, but when it's something that's been found, this is a vision that's been not just created by them, but by the fans, by people who have put their hard-earned cash to this thing and basically helped build it. This thing was developed part of basically Kickstarter, for instance. And now they've gone and sold it to a big company that has no idea what they're supposed to be doing with it. All they care about is, as you said, Curry, the dollar signs, which is not what it was supposed to be about.
Yeah, but they're letting the Oculus company take care of what they got to take care of in it, and having a company like Samsung support it with hardware is definitely a good thing.
No, I agree, but I think mobile is not probably the way to go. I think what they should be concentrating on is gaming the here and now. I'm not going to be wearing an Oculus fucking headset and walking around outside with my Samsung telephone. It's one, it's going to cause a hazard because someone's going to probably end up mowing me down while I'm in a virtual reality world. And two,
you're going to get mugged.
Exactly.
Straight up, someone's going to steal it off you. There's an idiot.
They're not even going to. You know what? They're not even going to steal the device on your face. They're just going to reach and take your wallet while you're walking around.
Yeah. It does make me laugh because it's like I don't see the reason behind it, but fair enough.
Like surrogates.
Yeah, exactly. So next on that agenda, do we have anything else there, Craig?
No, that's my last bit of news.
Cool. Xander, would you be buying this Samsung Oculus merger thingy?
No.
Well, when you put it that way.
No.
I like that. No. But
I'm not a big virtual reality person anyway, so.
But what if you could, like, you know?
I think
I'd rather buy the Oculus Dick. You know the one they're doing in Japan. That looks like a dick mechanic for the Oculus Rift.
Well, I don't want any virtual penises or anything around me, so.
But Xander, you could have sex with people virtually.
Yeah, but I mean,
But
I
then
kind of I like
as well.
I like the chase. I like the chase. So.
Well, you
unless it has a
chase.
difficulty, if it's got a difficulty setting, I'll consider it.
And trust me, it's on it. It'll allow you to like make love in Dark Souls. Wait, what? Take that, you beast! I'm going to unsheath my sword. That's his penis. Xander, put it away. No, I'm going to defeat this monster with my penis.
Why is it robotic?
Because that is the sound it actually makes.
As this lunatic is running across the street with his dick out.
Dangerous, go alone. Take this.
Oh God, what are we like here on this show, ladies and gents? Again, if you want to join in the conversation, you can do on 718-624-9265.
If you want to bring some normality.
If you want to bring some normality to, apart from the constant penis jokes about Xander and his Oculus dick. Anyway, going from that, ladies and gents, we've got some huge E3 coverage that's going to be coming up on IGG, so you make sure you tune in for that. We're going to be doing a week-by-week update in terms of E3 as well, followed by an IGG E3 show. So we're going to be talking loads and loads of stuff about stuff from E3 and about the whole amazing bits and pieces that were coming from the gaming companies. Of course, still no sign of Zach Tour, but we will be back, ladies and gents, right after this, of course, for our main subject, which will be the very, very lovely Mario Kart. So let's do that, shall we? As we move on to this.
They're the heroes for. In this day and age, who could ask for more? The crime wave is high, with muggings mysterious. All police and detectives are furious, cause they can't find the source of this lethally evil force. This is serious, so give me a quarter. I was a witness, give me a report. Call April O'Neil in on this case, and you better hurry up, there's no time to wait. We need help like quick on the double. Have pity on the city, man, it's in trouble. We need heroes like the Lone Ranger when Tonto came pronto. When there was danger, they didn't say we'd be there in half an hour, cause they displayed total power. Was hot on the trail, determined to put these crooks in jail. She spied the bad guys and saw what happened, but before she knew it, she fell in the trap and got caught. Yeah, she was all alone, with no friends and no phone. Now this was beyond her worst dreams, cause she was cornered by some wayward teens. Headed by strangers, they were anything but good. Misguided, unloved, they called them the foot. They could terrorize and be angry youth, and they'd move the people who needed truth. Then from out of the dark came an awesome sight, shouting cowabunga as they hit the ground. From the fields of weeds, the heroes rescued the flower, cause they possessed strength to do what's right. That's true. Heroes on a half shell, they're on a mission. When there's a battle, got the enemy wishing that they stayed at home. Instead of fighting these ninja masters with moves like lightning, they were once normal, but now they're mutants. Splinter's the teacher, so they are the students. Leonardo, Michelangelo, and Donatello make up the scene with one other fellow, Raphael. He's the leader of the group, transformed from the norm by the nuclear goop. Pieces of food that's sure to please. These ninjas are into pepperoni and cheese. Back to the story, it's not not just of the body, but of the mind. Those were the words that the master instructed, but a letter from Shredder has plenty of justice. That was the last straw, spring into action. Step on the foot, now the going is traction. Now this is for real, so you fight for justice. Your shell of heart, and you shout, they can't trust us all. On some old coffee table, since you've been born, you've been willing and able to defeat the snake, protect the weak, fight for rights and your freedom to speak. Now the villain is chilling, so you make a stand. Back to the wall, put your sword in your hand. Remember the words of your teacher, your master. Evil moves fast, but good moves faster than light. Shining from your illumination. Good versus evil equals confrontation. So when you're in trouble, don't give in and go sour. Try to rely on your power.
Yes, that was Turtle Power, and the reason I put that on because I have no idea why. Anyway, also allowed the guys to go for a bit too. So let's continue the show, guys, and talk about our core subject. But before that, we missed a few bits of news, and Michael Matthews wants to tell us a little bit. Michael, you have the floor.
Right. Well, the first thing, obviously, the second big game this week was Watch Dogs, and it turned out to be a massive success for Ubisoft. And it's turned out to be their fastest and biggest selling new IP. So, what's everyone think about? To think it's going to end up turning into a giant cash cow like Assassin's Creed?
It probably will
keep
do.
it as one game.
But in a trailer for it,
Yeah.
where the guy goes to the shop.
Yeah, it looks really... The thing is, the premise of the game is really good, in terms of the fact that so many people have called it Grand Theft Auto on steroids, in a sense, because it has a huge story to it. It seems very, very sort of poignant. But the one biggest complaint, everyone keeps going on about the fact that on the Sony PS4 and the Xbox One, the game doesn't look as amazing as it should do.
No, I mean, I've been playing it over the past few days. I bought it on launch. It looks good, but it doesn't look E3 2012 trailer good by any means.
Okay, Craig, have you tried this game yet?
No, I haven't tried this game. I've seen a couple of videos of it being played. I think the game looks great. I mean, I think last gen games still look good. So, I mean, I'm not really a graphics whore, so if the gameplay is good, it's okay in my book.
I agree. What about you, Travis?
I haven't played the game yet, but it does look really awesome. But I'm just gonna wait for the Wii U version to come out.
So, Jana, we've actually been on the Happy Console Gamer forum, and we always keep hearing people go on about the fact that the game is not as great visually as it should be. What do you think of this?
Well, it was funny because, you know, when I'll give an example. Mario Kart 8 came out yesterday. Everyone was posting about how fun the game was. I mean, you had some people talk about how beautiful it was. Some people were talking about, mostly people were talking about the gameplay. Honestly, when Watch Dogs first came out, I didn't know if it was a good game or not because everyone was talking about the frame rate. It's like, that's what I was seeing. Everyone was talking about frame rate issues, and I'm like, well, is the game even fun? And of course, you know, I've talked about it in a couple of episodes ago that I'm kind of boycotting Ubisoft, so I'm probably not going to be playing it anytime soon. If I play, it'll probably be used, just so I know that Ubisoft doesn't make money from it.
Are they basically putting it onto the Wii U? Is the port coming out?
It is, but I've kind of stated this before. I think Ubisoft is doing some really shady stuff with the Wii U, and the reason why I'm saying that is because I think it's funny that, you know, the Wii U version's coming out so much later, and then, you know, Ubisoft keeps saying over and over again, well, we haven't really been making games for Nintendo because we don't really get that much profit from Nintendo. I mean, look at Zombie U, look at Rayman, you know, stuff like that. But the thing is, they're releasing this game out late, so when it comes out late, it's not going to sell as much. It's not going to move as many units as it did for the PS4 and Xbox One. And they're going to be like, well, it looks like it was another flop for Nintendo and Ubisoft. I think Ubisoft is doing exactly what EA did with Nintendo, but they're doing it in a very shady way that the average person doesn't see the shadiness.
Well, I know what platform I'm buying it for, the Wii U. That's going to be the platform. I'm going to support Nintendo all the way, as far as I'm concerned. And Ollie, what's your whole opinion on this? Because you were saying that it does look sexy. You've seen the trailer for Watch Dogs.
Yeah, I mean, the trailer looks good, but it's one of the first games out on this new gen's consoles. If you look at the PS3, you look at PS2, all of the first 100 games look like previous gen consoles. It's not until they can actually kind of tailor the games to maximize the console will they start looking better. And the concept of the game seems really good. In a way, if it's done well, I mean, if it's like some, like you say, GTA on steroids, some of the GTA games were awful.
Very true.
They weren't always about graphics, but
the story was there. The core story and gameplay was great.
Yeah. But like some of the GTA 3 spin-offs, they were a little bit dodgy. Some of them were great.
Yeah.
But it's all about how the game plays, how you make you feel. Yeah, whether you get involved in the game, and that's more important to me than the actual graphics. So they'll iron it out, and it'll work in the end. But
yeah, I just really thought it was weird that this is the first game that ever came out that when it first came out, I heard nothing about the gameplay whatsoever. It wasn't until like I believe our friend like Sean Walker, didn't he do a playthrough of it?
No, Brandon did. Brandon Ligon.
Yeah, I was saying one of the people here on IGG, I know they did a walkthrough of it, and that was the only time I actually heard someone be like, "Hey, I'm going to actually play the game." You know, like that's all I heard. The first 2 days the game came out was how good it looked or how not so good it looked, and then everyone started going in console wars, and this became like a big shit fest.
There was also the same thing with Infamous Second Son.
Oh yeah,
People had that. It's because it's a next-gen console. People had expectations. They were expecting it to be better than the PS3. They wanted the next level up, and they're not getting it. So
I think everybody's just looking for that game that's next gen that just looks so amazing.
Yeah, you'll get one, then everyone will be happy. Like when the Gran Turismo games came out.
But the thing is, with this generation, I think the jump isn't as great as it was last generation.
No.
Well, I think also we're not going to see this generation of console gaming. We're not going to see it at its full potential until like it's in its middle of its lifespan. You know, because I mean, if you look at early 360 games or early PS3 games, they don't look that great because developers are still trying to figure out what kind of things they can do. I mean, you look at a game that came out for PS3 during launch, and you look at a game like Last of Us. Yeah. It's a big jump. So as of now, because the Xbox One and the PS4 are only, I mean, they're about to become a year old. I don't think until we see like the 2-year, 3-year mark that we'll see it really start to pop.
And the funny thing, I think the only company that seems to be getting it right at the moment, even though they haven't got as many games out as they should do, is Nintendo. They seem to have come to grips with the technology, with the graphics. It's like people were talking about Mario Kart 8 and the fact that it just looks really sexy. And to me it does. And the gameplay mechanics, everything on this game seems to have been improved. And in terms of Watch Dogs, I hear the story and the gameplay are amazing parts of the game, and I agree wholeheartedly with the whole Bit Wars thing. It's happening again with frame wars. Everyone's contemplating about frame rate. No, this frame rate's better on the Xbox than it is on the PlayStation. This frame rate's better on this. This frame rate's better on that. It's like, come on, guys, give it a rest. Give it a bit of a rest and stop sitting down moaning about the frame rate, because the internet, it's just gaming. Enjoy it, love it. So
that's sort of gamers we have nowadays. People don't play games to enjoy them; they play games to, I don't know, watch them.
Yeah, I agree.
That's right there. Like the Final Fantasy series just really bugged me because that's what that's become. About graphics, about visually stunning. Forget the game.
Mm. No, I agree.
But I got my own piece on that. That can be a whole show in itself.
Exactly. So what does everyone else think? So Michael, you said you had another bit of news for us?
Yeah, the second thing is today there was something called Project Beast announced by From Software. It's only a tiny bit of gameplay, but it looks very Dark Souls, and it's supposed to be PS4 exclusive.
Ooh, very Dark Soulsy. And From Software is being bought out, isn't it? If I remember.
I think so, but I can't remember who bought them.
Yeah, there has been a bit of news that they have been bought out by a big. I don't think it's a gaming company actually as well. It's a Japanese company that's actually bought them out. So that's going to be a very weird situation in a sense, because I see them in the same sort of high quality as companies like Atlas, for instance.
Yeah.
You know, they're the companies that have basically been more sort of independent with the way that they've published and they've made their games, and they've never shied away from being outside the box.
No, they've only bought they bring out a game every 2 or 3 years, but every time they do bring something out, it's always of good quality.
Yeah, I agree. Excuse me. I agree wholeheartedly. So what do you guys think? Do you guys want to see something kind of Dark Soulsy for the PlayStation 4 and in terms of that quality of game, or are you guys just happy with Dark Souls 2?
I like that, but the difficulty of those games, like, oh man,
they are old school difficulty.
Yeah,
in a sense, you know.
No, it was too difficult.
I think at times it's frustratingly difficult, and it's difficult to be difficult.
So what about you, Xander?
Well, I still haven't really played a Dark Souls game. I have Demon Souls. I still haven't played it. So I mean, like for the fan base, and I can understand the popularity of it. I think it's really, really cool. Personally.
Very, very true. Okay, so moving on from that, guys, we're going to now go on to our core subject, which is Mario Kart. Now, Mario Kart was a series of go-kart style racing video games. It was developed and published by Nintendo as a spin-off of the Super Mario series. It was launched in '92 by Nintendo for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, of course, which was a critical and commercial success. Now, let's talk about that a little bit. What was your experience with the Super Nintendo version? Xander, have you ever played it?
Oh yeah, I remember renting it when it first came out. I remember seeing the commercials for it, and you know the one thing that really sticks in my mind was when I went to rent it at Blockbuster, and I remember it was a really, really hot summer, like it was really, really hot that day, and I remember our car broke down, and I was really upset because I was sweating, and I was wanting to go home and play Mario Kart.
I want to play Mario Kart, mummy.
Yeah.
We've all been there. So what about you, Travis?
Oh man, I was really looking forward to this. I saw it in magazines and saw the commercials. I was like, oh, I want to play this so bad. And then one weekend, my brother actually rented it for us, and I remember playing the heck out of it and totally getting pwned by it once you got to the 100cc class. It was unforgivingly difficult.
But that was the core part of that game. It was supposed to be really, really hard. I remember there's only certain few people could reach that 150cc class and defeat it. I was one of them, but I didn't do it as a kid, believe it or not. I did it when I got a bit older. Now,
that doesn't really count.
Hey, it did count for me. It was a great achievement. I felt special.
Special.
But, you know, it was one of those things that I really appreciate, and everything about this game. And you know, most people actually saw I kicked up a bit of a fuss today for Mario Kart 8. My Facebook went crazy. I was on Twitter slandering the company, the delivery company called Mayo. And I was calling up Nintendo like crazy, running up my phone bill, trying to get them to sort this problem out. Because I ordered my copy of Mario Kart 8 basically when it was on pre-order. So I pre-ordered it like I believe it was like 4 months in advance. And once I pre-ordered the game, because I remember me and Xana were talking about it, because Xana was like going, oh man, they've got all this stuff over here, and you know, we're not getting it over in the United States. And it's like special edition, you know, box, and it had everything with it, like a steering wheel. It had the Mario hat, I believe, the game, and also you've got like a blue tortoiseshell keychain, and the Bullet Bill T-shirt if you ordered it exclusively from the Nintendo eShop. Now, the issue about this was there was a company, the delivery company that was supposed to deliver it next day for Nintendo, called MyYodel, who decided, yeah, we can't do that. So I ended up basically, I was having a very bad day on Friday, to basically personal stuff, and I came home and I was waiting to play my game. You know, I'm sitting there thinking, oh great, you know, they haven't arrived yet, should be here by 9 p.m. 9 p.m. comes, no game, so I phoned them up, I was like, hey, you know, what's going on? My game's supposed to arrive by now. And then the guy's sitting there going, well, it wasn't supposed to arrive there. Nintendo basically shouldn't have told you it was next day in terms of delivery, because we don't do that next day, because we picked it up rather late. And I was like, no, he had a deep voice. And I went to him, well, actually, it was supposed to be next day. It says on your website. And I had an image from the website saying next day. And the guy goes, well, that's not on the site, and calling me a liar. So I was like, look, just go on the frickin' site and have a look. I had a look. And do you know when someone's just being really impossible and your voice kind of raises? Like you're going to lose your temper with them because they're not listening no matter what you say to them?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was literally that conversation. And he was like, oh, I'm sorry about that. You know, I can confirm that it was supposed to be delivered next day. We're having issues. We will deliver it tomorrow. So I'm like, okay, what time? Oh, any time between 7 a.m. and 9 p.m. Okay. I basically did a podcast yesterday called Slamcast on the Retro Island Network. I helped debut that show for Retro Island Network. It's with Brandon Ligon and a few other of our Retro Island members, Lawn Voice Post 1975, Mr. Dave Wade, and also the console snob, Scott Bailey, was on the show. We did the show, and I ended up talking to Dave. Like, me and Dave, whenever we chat, we end up talking for like 5-6 hours. You know, it's kind of the same conversation that me and Rob Man usually have. Every time me and Rob Man talk, we talk for hours. And it got to the point where I was so tired and shattered, and I went to bed at 5 o'clock in the morning. And when I went to bed at 5 in the morning, I got up then at 7 in the morning expecting to see my package. Didn't turn up. So I'm looking, thinking, oh, they must have left a card at the door, you know, I missed it. Nothing. 8 o'clock, I went back to sleep, woke up at 8, and I was like, oh, okay, my package is, no, nothing. Okay, woke up, went to sleep, and then my brother came home and was like, hey, can you look up this package? I'm going back to bed for a bit. He's like, yeah, no worries. Woke up, 12 in the afternoon, package still not there. So I phoned up, I checked the website, and it's saying there's a severe delay with my package. I was like, what the hell is going on? So I phoned them up, asked them what the hell was going on. Exactly, Ollie, fuck you. Basically, phoned them up, asked them exactly what's going on in terms of the package, and...
Stop saying package.
I have to, my package. And, you know, it just didn't... They just said to me, it's not going to be delivered today. You have to wait till Monday. I was infuriated. Totally infuriated, because I was watching everybody open this game up and play this game. I've seen the Let's Plays. I've seen everything. And the thing that I want to get to, as I was getting angry about this, was I'm a fan of Mario Kart. I love Mario Kart. It's one of my favourite games. And not getting it on first day of release, just as I got Mario Kart on SNES, first day of release, it shattered me. I was like, I want to play this game. I want to enjoy my game and just, you know, experience it for the first time, just as I experienced that game for the first time, you know, and picked it up and just getting fooled by it, and I had all these childhood emotions that I had when I was a kid buying this game for the first time, and I couldn't do it. I was getting so angry. So I phoned up Nintendo and I said to them, look, you know, what are you going to do about this? And I was being a bit of an internet troll as well, I have to admit. I was tweeting them on their website, on the Yodel Online website, saying, customer service doesn't seem to, my Yoda doesn't understand what the term customer service is, or even the word next day, and basically was trolling the shit out of their Twitter thread, posting over 100 tweets, and for some reason I managed to get about 5 new followers on Twitter because of it.
That's probably not a good thing.
Yeah, I think people just love the fact that I was trolling the fucking shit out of these guys. And, I did my thing, I got annoyed, and, Nintendo finally phoned me back. It was like, hey, we're trying to resolve it, give us a bit, and we'll call you back. So I'm still waiting, getting really anxious, blowing up my Facebook, and people were like, dude, chill, you get it on Monday. I was like, no, I don't want it Monday. I want it now. I want to play it. I want to experience the game. And people were just wondering why I was acting like a 5-year-old, wanting to play this game so badly. And I was getting really pissed off and, really wanted to play my game. And I was literally nearly reduced to tears. It's so funny saying about it, talking about it now, but it's really bad at the same time. Do you know what I mean? Because I was getting reduced to tears wanting to play this game. And then eventually he phoned me up and said, look, we'll give you a downloadable copy of the game, and you can have it for free. If you want, you can refuse the package and, get a full refund. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. I bought the special edition and I got it for the special edition. And they've said, that this apparently happened in the UK for nearly loads of people in the UK have not received their edition of Mario Kart, which they've given out a load of these free download codes for everybody who hasn't received their game. So I managed to get, my downloadable copy, and I was excited. I was getting people to jump on Facebook. Me and Xander were, going on matches and stuff, and that's exactly how I felt the first time when I played the Mario Kart game, on the SNES. It was literally playing this experience, having this thing where I could drive these little karts and playing the driving game, which I'm not a fan of driving games, believe it or not. But this game always seems to get my blood flowing. It always seems to make me happy. It's like Xander was saying, we had some intense races. Me and him going at it, attacking each other, basically hitting each other with tortoise shells. It made my day, and it made me smile, and that's probably my biggest childhood instinct with that. It's kind of weird. Is that weird?
Yes.
Well, the thing is, though, it's that game that, I'm even passionate about Mario Kart. I've been a fan since the first game came out in 1992.
Yeah.
With and it's just like, since that game came out, with almost every console that followed it, there's been a Mario Kart game, and that's what helped drive the sales of the system. It has such a loyal fan base, and to be excited about a new iteration, it's understandable. So I think you're pretty justified being upset that you're almost at the point of being denied having a day one have a day one playthrough of it. It's justifiable to be that pissed off.
But I was denied my day one playthrough, I have to admit, because the day it was released was yesterday, which was also Rob Band's birthday. Happy birthday, Rob! From everybody here on I Got Gameplay, and it was watching. Even I saw a picture of him playing it with his little kids, and I was just like, I want to be that guy. I want to be playing this. It's fair, even watching.
That does sound like a 5-year-old.
No, but it literally was. I was acting like a big spoiled baby.
Yeah, because it brings you back to when you played it.
Yeah.
It brings you back to your childhood. So
yeah.
You act like a child.
Yeah. And even watching Xander upload a video of one of his game playthroughs on YouTube, I was jealous. I was completely not jealous of Xander. I was like, apart from the fact that he gets all the ladies, but I was jealous. It was just, I sat there and I was like, he's playing this at the moment.
Are you?
I even had Stephen Horton, aka Gashead, go on. As soon as I said, I'm not playing it, everybody else is opening it, good for them, I haven't got my copy of Mario Kart 8. He just went, oh, look what I've got, whoops, and posted a picture of Mario Kart 8, and I was just sitting there, just wanting to punch him in his arm.
His arm. I want to be violent, but not that violent.
Yeah, it's like friend in the arm for being a dick, and it was literally that, and it's just hilarious, because I was sitting there, and now thinking back at it, I'm like, I'm a rational human being, and I was being very irrational. But Nintendo were really great about it, and I have to give a big kudos and shout out to everybody in Nintendo UK customer support who understood where I was coming from, and they helped me out. And I'm sitting here playing it, and I'm with loads of glee, smiling like crazy.
Losing.
I invited Oliver around today just so that we can sit down and play this together, and play a localized gameplay, which we're doing at the moment. But as I said, with that, it was literally the same thing. Me and my brothers would have tournaments. We would have the multi play function on there, and at that time you could only play 2 players. Do you guys remember the whole just 2-player function? No one even heard of 4-player on that, apart from Bomberman, on the SNES. Oh, yeah. And with that, I played it. I used to play the crap out of the battle mode with the balloons.
Yeah,
that's my Achilles heel, actually.
I love the battle mode.
We used to do like the fun thing where you would just jump. Yeah, do you know the one of the battle modes? There's like a little swimming pool bit in there. And I would used to like get my cart into there, just position myself right so I could jump in, and then swim my cart in the swimming pool just for the splash sounds and stuff. And it was brilliant. We had so much fun on that game. I played with my friends at school. I played with my family, my brothers, and it was such an enjoyable time in my life. And for me, it always will be one of my favorite games in the world. It literally is. It brings you back to that point. I think even if Mario Kart 9 comes out and the same thing happens, you're going to see me acting like a complete 5-year-old. And it's because of the fact that I enjoy this game so much, and that's basically one of the reasons why I love Mario Kart and SNES. So, Michael, I'm being a bit selfish here because I'm talking about my experiences. Let's hear yours.
Well, I'm very same with Mario Kart like you are. I'm a super huge fan. Been playing it since it came out in '92, and I was like 3-year-old then. And
you are a very good 3-year-old, by the way. My son has no idea how to play games at 3. I just give him the controller and let him pretend that he knows.
Well, on my 3rd Christmas, I was just given a Super Nintendo, and one of the games was Mario Kart. So since then I've been a super huge fan, and I was one of the lucky ones. Thursday morning, woke up, come downstairs, the post there, package, opened it up, my face just lit up. Early copy of Mario Kart with my t-shirt, and I've got to say that t-shirt, if you've got yours as well, don't know if anyone's got it, but that's a really good quality t-shirt.
Well, my brother got the t-shirt, but I think he gave me the game, he kept the t-shirt. Yeah. I think it's probably torn somewhere now. Probably hasn't kept it because he's kind of grown since then. But he was the one who actually brought it and introduced it into our household. But I got the game. I had the SNES before I got the game.
Yeah.
But for me it was weird. It was like Mario in a kart game, really? But then I played it and I was like, Mario in a kart game, fuck yeah,
yeah, we've. And then, ever since then, obviously, I've been playing Mario Kart ever since on. It's one of the main reasons, next to Zelda, I've bought every Nintendo console. And another thing it's brought around as well, Mario Kart, is my fiance, she's not into video games whatsoever. She doesn't care. But she's sat watching me play Mario Kart for the past 2 days, and randomly picked up my spare Wii remote and started playing it, and she's actually gone to gaming through Mario Kart.
Yeah, that's the thing as well. My ex-wife, the kid's mum, she got into gaming through Mario Kart as well, but I'll talk about that when we get to Mario Kart Wii. So, what about you, Craig? What was your experience?
Well, I kind of stumbled on Mario Kart. My friend had it. He picked it up on a whim for the Super Nintendo, and we actually, because we didn't have a game to play, and we bought this game with our combined cash, and we played the shit out of it. So much until, we played it until the Nintendo 64 one came out, and it was just, the most fantastic experience. And it really brought, our group of friends together playing this game. And but I haven't played the new one yet. I can't wait. I watched a bunch of videos. I watched Travis's video on the new one, and it looks fantastic.
Did you watch mine, Craig?
I didn't even get to it yet. I'm sorry.
Craig, that's betrayal, Craig.
Any fouls up is me. So.
Oh no, here it comes.
It comes. It does come. It is this.
Betrayal! Betrayal! Betrayed me!
There you go, Craig. You should be watching the Mario GP videos. Anyway.
But thank you for watching my video. That's awesome.
Yeah, of course. But yeah, I've been watching Travis's videos as well, and I have reminisced over a few of the games, but we can talk about that in a little bit. So, moving on from that, basically, we'll talk a little bit more about the Mario Kart series, because it was a basically Super Famicom title, Super Entertainment System, Super Nintendo Entertainment System, and part of the Mario Kart series. It was released in 1992, August 27, 1992 in North America, September 1st, 1992 in North America, 27th August 92 in Japan, and in Europe it went to become one of the best-selling SNES games of all time. Anybody want to know how much it sold?
7 billion.
Probably not 7 billion.
I'll say about 8 million copies.
Just checking that actually.
Is this worldwide sales?
Worldwide sales.
Yeah, I'd probably say around.
Oh, worldwide, I mean much bigger than 8 million.
Yeah, I would say it's not just.
I was thinking.
Oh, for Super Nintendo back then.
And it basically hit the Guinness World Records, ranked at number 1 of the list of the most top 50 console games of all time, based on the initial impact and also the lasting legacy on that game. And I believe, I'm just trying to have a look actually, see how much it sold.
We can come back to that.
Yeah, we can come back to that actually. You are right. Now, talking about that as well, again, it was basically a huge hit for the Super Nintendo. It received acclaim, proved to be a commercial success. It received the Player's Choice release after selling 1 million copies. Eventually went on to say 8 million copies. Travis was right, and became the best-selling game on the SNES ever. And Game Rankings and Moby Games actually scored it an average of 7 out of 10, and more than 90% critics praised the game's Mode 7 graphics, and Nintendo Magazine has described it as superb, basically. Another aspect of the game was praised its gameplay. The Thunderbolt has described as the deepest, most addictive to be found on an SNES console. And Nintendo Magazine System showed the preference of multiplayer modes of the game and stated that the single-player mode became dull quickly, but the two-player mode would never lose its appeal. So it's saying that most people wanted to play with their friends, but others, tend to... The one-player mode tends to be dull. For me, I disagree. I love both, but I did enjoy playing the two-player mode with my family. We used to play the knockout tournament where each person would have a controller. Whoever lost would have to pass the controller over to the next person and get in the back of the queue. I don't know how you guys did it, but we used to do that all the time. And, the age placed at number 19 in the list of top 50 best games in 2005-2007. And it was number 14 in the 100 best games of the 100 greatest games in history by Computer Video Magazine. And it's included in Yahoo Games UK list of 100 greatest games of all time, and praised the appeal of each of the characters as well. So this game was amazing. Now, moving on from that game, let's go on to the next of the Mario Kart franchise, one that Travis Goss has actually played on his rose-coloured Let's Plays, which is Super Mario Kart 64. Well, that game was a 96 go-kart racing game developed and published by Nintendo for the N64, and it was a successor to the Super Mario Kart and Super Nintendo Entertainment System. And the second Mario Kart game was released in Japan on December 14th, 96, and in North America in 97. And the January 2007, Mario Kart 64 was released as downloadable content on the Virtual Console and the Wii system as well. Now, the changes to the original included the move to polygon-based true 3D computer graphics, and takes control of the characters from Mario Universe to race around a variety of tracks, either harm opponents or aid the user. Now, let's talk about the experience on this game. Xander, we're going with you again. What was your experience in playing Mario Kart 64?
Well, the first time I played Mario Kart 64 was actually before I even had a 64. I played it in on a Blockbuster kiosk.
You go to Blockbuster a lot, didn't you?
Hey.
Oh yeah, I went there like every weekend.
People work there.
But yeah, I went there and I played it, and I was just completely floored. It was so beautiful. Like I remember when I played Mario 64, I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. But when I saw Mario Kart 64, I was completely floored. And I actually played it not too long ago, but I didn't play it on the N64. I played it on the Ouya, which I know people were like, oh my god, it's emulation. But I tell you, man, I played it on the emulator through HDMI, and oh my gosh, it looked amazing. You know, because I mean, like it was funny because I looked at it, I'm like, this is probably what it looked like to me back when I was a kid playing on the N64. But it's still like, I'm not a big N64 fan, but that is one game that I have to have in my collection, along with like Star Fox and Pokemon Snap. Like those are my favorite N64 games.
A friend of mine who actually, Mr. Sean Oxenham, shout out to you, Sean, who actually has GoldenEye 64. He has an N64, GoldenEye 64, and Mario Kart 64. He loves those games. So, you know, give a nice shout out to him on that. But yeah, no, I've been the same, Xander. I was totally floored by the... I never paid attention to the N64 until that game came out. It was literally where I was like, oh, look, it's an N64. I was like, pah, cartridges. I have a PlayStation, I'm fine. He's like, it has Mario Kart 64? What? Give me a controller. And literally, you know, my older brother, Hassan, great guy, I have to admit, without him, my sort of time with Nintendo would have been cut short after the SNES. I kind of ditched them for Sony when the N64 came out, because I didn't believe that the console was up to the spec it should have been. I was one of those guys. And then I played Mario Kart 64, and that all my worries and troubles went away. You know, I fell in love with the console again, and I was like, you know what? I love this game. I continued playing it, and I played it to completion, believe it or not. You know, every time I was at school, and I believe I was at college at the time, I think. Yeah, I was at college at the time. I loved this game. You know, I love the fact that even in one of the levels you could integrate with cars, and the fact that you could get run over by real life cars was awesome. The fact that you had loads of different new tracks as well. The fact that you had 3D Mario characters. The one thing I didn't like, Koopa Troopa was missing. How dare they take out my favourite character of the game?
Man, he's rubbish.
He is not rubbish. He's awesome. Do not fail the name of Koopa Troopa.
He is the only way let me get my thoughts straight. In Super Mario Kart, the Koopa Troopa was the best way to beat the game, was with that character.
Yeah, because he was an all-rounder. He still is an all-rounder, even though I'm not playing him properly at the moment because I'm keep losing. So yeah, let's go for you, Trav. What was your experience?
Again? Sorry, I'm eating some pie here. Sorry about that.
Wait, Travis. You like pie?
Yes.
Did you say you like pie? Do you like yourself Wu-Tang pie?
Oh my gosh.
Oh man, it's becoming my show all of a sudden. Cue the theme song.
Says you should shut your pie hole and fill it with that Wu-Tang pie. Sorry, I had to. Anyway.
So anyways, just like with Super Mario Kart, I was, saw the advertisements in the magazines and saw a lot of other things. It was interesting when they announced what was known as Ultra 64. They were showing some games in development, and at that time, this game was in development, but it was called Super Mario Kart R. I thought it was kind of an odd title.
Well, I think they changed it after Sega released Sonic R.
Yeah, they did. I even mentioned it in that first...
Which was terrible.
Yes, it was.
Anyone played Sonic R, it was literally just Sonic and his friends running around. That's it.
That's all he does, anyway. What the hell?
He's on speed, what do you expect? Yeah, but go on, Travis.
Well, that game's not too bad, it's just I can't stand the music.
Super Sonic!
I was about to say, I was holding it in. I actually really like the soundtrack to Sonic R.
That's so cheesy. I don't mind the soundtrack, it's just I can't play those characters running around like they're fucking nuts. They look like they've just taken a drug and they're running around wanting to go to the toilet afterwards, like they're going to diarrhea their pants.
It's like they took a super water pill.
Yeah, it's literally like they've just had a colonoscopy and they're just going to crease their pants or something. Do you know when you're running for the toilet? Supersonic Racer.
You give me an idea next time I have the runs, I can just start singing that. Holy shit. But anyways, getting back on subject here. But yeah, And I saw that, I thought, oh, I'm so getting the system. And when that game comes out, I'm totally getting it. I got that game, and actually it was the same day I actually went out and saw Star Wars, the special edition, when that came out. And
I believe that was released in the cinema first, wasn't it? The special edition version. In some cinemas. Yeah.
Yeah. But that was a good weekend. This one was, to me, it was a lot easier than Super Mario Kart. In fact, I think I got all the trophies and all the classes in one weekend.
Yeah, and I can say the joystick made things a lot easier as well, didn't it?
Oh, it does, totally. But, yeah, I mean, this was just like a big deal. I mean, I went to Target, I saw it there, I had the $50, and I was like, I'll take that. Went home, popped it in, I was like, yeah, baby. Now this is a racing game.
I feel like Nintendo is the only company that made a good, like, kart racer.
Oh no, Crash Team Racing was awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Don't forget Crash Team
I didn't
Racing.
really play that too much, but I'm saying it's not better than Mario Kart.
Might do a Let's Play on it, just saying.
Sonic All Star Racing holds up pretty well as well.
Yeah, it does. I have to admit on that one. But let's talk about it. Oh, God, silver. We need to go for gold. Anyway, in terms of your experience, Craig, why don't you talk about that a little bit? Mario 64, Mario Kart 64. What did you think of that game?
I've probably wasted a whole year of my life inside of a basement playing that game. Like, fights started over that game. I had, I don't know, that game was just, it was the reason to buy the Nintendo 64, and it was, I think it was one of the first crop of games on there, if I'm not mistaken. And this was before, I think, GoldenEye. So, you know, whenever we would go hang out and play video games, it would be Mario Kart 64. And this game was just so amazing to me. Visually, I think it was like one of the best looking games, and I still think it's one of the best looking games on the Nintendo 64 still. I have a lot of I
agree on that one. It is visually stimulating, and I managed to get a hold of a copy at Play Expo, because I literally spent the majority of Play Expo playing Mario Kart. Right. And it was Mario Kart 64, I played some Double Dash, and I also played Mario Kart 7, because Steve Benway, shout out to Steve, Benway, for most of you guys who don't know, I did an interview with him on my YouTube channel, so check that out. He gave me his 3DS to play Mario Kart 7 on, so, you know, I managed to get some good gaming with that, and Mario Kart 64, I literally just picked the pad up, and it was like I never left. You know, I got through the game, I managed to complete with Toad, because, for everybody who knows, it's Toad and Koopa Troopa usually the ones that are very sort of multi-skilled, in a sense. I
feel like that game put a standard on what a racing game was supposed to be like. You know, how a racing game should, like, feel on a controller and stuff.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that one as well. It allowed you to understand the characters a lot better, and with the joystick controller, you had a lot more free range of movements in terms of the way that you handled your kart. So let's move on there from that to Michael. What about you? What did you think of Mario Kart 64?
Well, for me, Mario Kart 64 was probably like my least played, because then I didn't actually have a 64 for quite a while. So for me, it was just something I'd play with friends, but it did end up being my first Mario Kart that started friend rivalries, where it get to the point where you'd literally just fall out with people and end up in fights over it.
Yeah. So you ended up with the whole. What's it called?
Mario Party syndrome?
Mario Party situation.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
What was your experience?
Nintendo 64 was good for breaking up friendships.
What was your main experience with it? How did you find it? Like the graphics,
graphically, I was like just super hyped with it being actually in 3D. I couldn't get over that, but it always seemed to, for some reason, lack in characters for me. Like, even including Super Mario Kart, the first one, you seem like the N64 one had like less characters.
Yeah, it did. In comparison as well, it had less characters, and I never knew why that was.
And, for an interesting bit of information, if anyone knew this or not, do you know Donkey Kong was originally taken over by Magic Koopa?
Was it?
It's true.
Huh.
Yeah, Magic Koopa was supposed to be in the game, but they took him out and put DK in his place. Oh no, wait, it wasn't DK. It was Wario.
Oh, how comes?
They didn't actually say. I think it was just for beta reasons.
Oh, okay.
I think Wario is more of a more well-known character. I think maybe.
Wario wins.
That's actually a very good impression, and that's kind of scary at the same time. So let's sort of move on from that and just talk a little bit of stats for Mario Kart 64. The game itself, if I can bring up my little text box here. Wait. Oh, sorry, Ollie. No, I do apologise. No, I do apologise.
No, I have nothing.
I do apologise. Please tell us your experiences, because I have missed you out twice.
Yeah, you asked if you missed me out on both of them.
Okay, so let's go into your Super Nintendo experience first, and then let's go to your Mario 64 experience. And I promise I will not miss you out on features.
Thank you. This is a bad hosting.
It is. I'm just acknowledging you.
Seeing I'm sitting next to you.
Exactly. It's because I'm competing with you and I'm getting angry. We're breaking up our friendships over this. So as you were saying, with the SNES version, let's start with that. What was your experience?
Obviously, I was, as most people, I was Nintendo over Sega. So as soon as Mario Kart came out, me and whatever friend happened to come round, or if there was a group of us, literally just pass pad whenever someone lost, unless you have that friend who's like, I refuse to get off even though I've lost.
Oh yes, we've had that.
I don't know. I mean, it's a good game and all, but I mean, I was very much into my Super Metroids and stuff like that. So it just felt slow and sluggish. The game. It was all right to play with someone else, but if no one else was there, it was a very poor single-player game. Right. Well, it's a bit of disgruntled disagreement there, but yeah, I just felt that if I was playing by myself, I would rather play something, that wasn't designed for multiplayer action, and obviously, Yeah,
okay, so tell us a little bit about your experience with 64 then. How did you find, and then there's another thing with Mario Kart 64, it actually utilised the Nintendo 64's multiplayer function, because you could actually play with 4 players on that console.
Yeah, which is absolutely brilliant. At that point, like yourself, I love Sony.
As you do.
Nintendo was a distant memory in my mind. I just didn't care about them anymore. All their games seemed childish and cheap. My friend bought 64, so to play the games, we'd go around his house, and he bought Mario Kart, and we were literally around every day. There was about 8 of us, and only 3 of them had the Rumble pack, so I was always stuck with the controller without the Rumble pack, which was a little sad. But yeah, the game itself, it just didn't feel, graphics-wise, I know you guys were very impressed because it was 3D and stuff, but I just come from PlayStation, the graphics again seemed just not quite a gaming game. It's very much just like play. It's a very good kind of team game, but again, the single player was easily completable.
Yeah, it was. I have to admit about Mario Kart 64 it was an easier game. You know, with the SNES, it was a lot harder to actually play that game than it was with the Mario Kart 64 game. Did everyone else find this? Did you guys find it was actually a lot easier?
Yeah, definitely. Because I mean, Mario Kart, like on the Super Nintendo, it took me years to unlock the Special Cup. Yeah.
Which a lot of people have actually stated that it took them ages to actually do that. So let's give a little bit of stats of Mario Kart 64. All the characters, the items remained in 2D pre-rendered sprites, of course. The characters themselves were 3D. And you had 8 selectable characters, which was different in comparison to the Mario Kart on the SNES. You had the Grand Prix mode, you had the time trial, you had versus mode, and you also had the battle mode, and it utilized the 4-player capability on that as well. Production began in 1995 under the original title Super Mario Kart R, which is what Travis has stated there. It was intended as a launch game for the N64, but the resources were given to Super Mario 64's development. An early prototype of the game was showcased at the Soshinkei software exhibition in Japan, November 24th, 1995. Prototype featured Feather Item from Super Mario Kart and the Magic Koopa as one of the 8 playable characters, who was replaced by Donkey Kong in the final game. The player's driving controls were designed to be similar in operating radio-controlled cars, and the Mario Kart 64 feature tracks that were fully rendered in 3D, and the game uses a billboarding to display the characters and items in the game. Hitaka Kohono stated that while rendering the characters in 3D models was not impossible, the limited processing power of the console would not allow 8 characters to appear on the screen at once. Instead, the characters are composed of pre-rendered sprites that shows that the characters in various angles to simulate the 3D appearance. Rare Ltd, developer of Donkey Kong Country games, provided Nintendo with Donkey Kong's character model. While the rubber band AI was used to prevent the racers from easily separating, the blue spiny shell item, which targets the attacks and players in the first place, was added in order to keep each race competitive and balanced. And it was included in all subsequent Mario Kart games afterwards. So this was the first appearance of the blue shell. What did everyone think of that?
Curse the blue shell.
Yeah, screw the blue shell. I've just been done over by it now.
I've been playing, and the blue shell has kind of raped my ass.
I'm glad they finally found a alternative to the blue shell, though, with Mario Kart 8. With the megaphone.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, the super horn.
Yeah.
I seem to be doomed with that horn. I never seem to get it when I need it.
You know what? The only thing I can say about Mario Kart 8 that it really ticks me off is when I go and get an item, it keeps giving me the freaking coins.
Yeah.
It's like they're trolling us, man.
I agree with you wholeheartedly on that one. I don't know what to pretty much say in terms of that. It's like my vice is the blue shell, but there have been other items as well, like the red shell. As soon as someone gets a red shell, I'm fucked. I literally go to the back of the queue as soon as I get hit, and then every other character comes and tries to hit me at the same time.
The thing is, it's the other way around with the red shell as well, especially if you get a triple red shell and you've got it, the biggest smile on your face appears.
Especially if you're behind you, mate. But the thing is, the blue shell, it used to be, if you were in first place and you were the blue shell was aimed at you, you could do the trick of slowing down so someone else takes first place and they get hit. Yeah. They've changed that in this, that if you're targeted even if you slow down.
God damn it, I never noticed that.
Right, so let's move on to the next game in the franchise on the handheld system. Super Mario Super Circuit, known in Japan as Mario Kart Advanced. How many of you guys have actually played this?
No. I actually have a copy.
I've never played that game.
I have 2 copies.
I have a copy.
Basically, it was a Game Boy Advance 2001. It's the 3rd game in Nintendo's Mario Kart series and first for handheld consoles. It's also the first Mario Kart game not to be developed by Nintendo EAD. Instead, it was developed by Nintendo's Intelligent Systems division. Super Circuit combines the features from earlier Mario Kart games, Super Mario Kart and Super Mario Kart 64, and the game was well received by reviewers following its release. And in case of its predecessors, Super Circuit is a circuit racing game. In it, the players face against 7 opponents, each of which is a character from Nintendo's Mario series in small go-karts on tracks in the Mario universe. Power-ups strewn across each track and the bearer of the hinder of their opponents, as well as coins that increase the player's top speed. So that's basically where the coin value came from, yes. We were talking about this quite recently, actually. So let's ask about that one. Xander, what was your experience with this game?
I'm sorry, my computer was messing up. What game was that?
Mario Kart Advanced.
That's actually one Mario Kart I never got to play. The one on the Game Boy Advance. I've played some of the tracks when they redid some of the tracks for like the DS and stuff like that. But yeah, I never actually played The Game Boy Advance version.
You've never played the Game Boy Advance version?
Nope.
Sacrilege.
That is sacrilege. So what about you, Travis?
I still have a copy, and I have a Game Boy Advance SP. It was, to tell you the truth, this was kind of unexpected. I didn't realize that Nintendo was gonna make a portable Mario Kart game, and it was pretty good. I mean, it was by combining both Super Mario Kart and Mario Kart 64 in design-wise, meaning that the tracks were back to being a flat plane, but the characters themselves were kind of 3D rendered. So the way the screen was moving, they would move with it. It was very nice. It was a very nice touch and everything. And I haven't played it recently though, but yeah, that game is just a hell of a lot of fun. And what the best part about this was the very first Mario Kart game that had retro levels built into it. After you completed the main tracks, it unlocked the classic levels from Super Mario Kart.
Ooh.
Yeah, and I think they even had some of the actual music from the game in there too, from what I can recall.
Oh, there we go. What about you, Craig? Have you played it?
Actually, my Game Boy Advance was stolen after like 3 months of me owning one.
Oh.
I was so upset. I didn't really buy another one, and I didn't really play too many Game Boy Advance games till later on. But I didn't really get a chance to play this game at all.
What about you, Michael?
It was the main reason I actually bought my Game Boy Advance, was that came out, so I picked one up. But to be honest, it's my least remembered. Like, I remember playing the Super Nintendo tracks on it, but the actual tracks themselves I remember nothing of.
I see. Well, it was well received in terms of the gameplay and value as well. What about you, Ollie?
Never played it. Never owned any handheld Nintendo console.
I'm going to shock everybody, and I should be getting a boo for this as well. I played the game, but I only played it recently. Because I never even knew it existed until I actually picked it up quite recently from a retro store. Believe it or not. And I bought it with the intention of letting my kids play it, because they're a fan of Mario Kart, and they began with the sort of Mario Kart on the Wii, believe it or not. So I got that for them to sort of play on the handhelds. But I never played it before then. So that's a little bit of a story on that. Have I completed it? Yeah. But again, it was one of those where I never actually played it in its inception, on its release date, basically, which is I know it's kind of weird, but it's one of those things. I bought my Game Boy Advance on release, and I only had one game for it for a long time, which was Mega Man Battle Network, because I didn't find any games useful in it until when the Pokemon Advance came out. So that's when I actually went through. And ladies and gents, by the way, we've got 17 minutes left on the clock. We're going to continue talking about this as the show goes into archive. So make sure, if you still want to listen, give us a listen and let us know your views. And also leave on the I Got Gameplay Facebook page your favourite Mario Kart game. So let's move on from Mario Kart Advance now and move on to our next Mario Kart game, which is Mario Kart Double Dash on the GameCube. Woot woot! Mario Kart Double Dash, or Mario Kart Double Dashu, is a racing game developed by Nintendo Entertainment System, their analysis and development division, and published by Nintendo for Nintendo GameCube in 2003. The game is the fourth installment of the Mario Kart series, following Mario Kart Super Circuit in 2001, and it was succeeded by the handheld game Mario Kart DS, which was released by Nintendo DS in 2005. Similar to previous titles, it incorporates characters from the Mario series and pits them against each other as they race on a different track. But the difference in this one was that you could actually play by double carts. It also supported an LAN play using the Nintendo GameCube broadband adapter, allowing 16 players to compete simultaneously in 20 characters to select them from total. The 11 being new to the series, of course, and special items from each character has also been implemented. Double Dash was generally well received by critics, and it attained the aggregated score of 87 out of 100%. Reviewers praised the graphics and the new gameplay and the features, but criticised the voice acting, that was even though it was commercially successful, selling over 3.8 million copies in the United States in over 802,000 copies in Japan. So let's talk about this, guys. Xander, what was your experience with Double Dash?
Oh man, Double Dash. I played like I was mentioning earlier. I didn't play the one on Game Boy Advance, but I did play the one on N64, and I loved it. And I remember when I got my GameCube, I got it right around the same time that Wind Waker was just coming out, and there was talks of Double Dash. And I remember being very excited about it. And I remember when they added that element of having two people on one cart. I thought that was really, really interesting, and
yes, it was very innovative, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it was just gorgeous, man. It was just so freaking good.
Yeah.
Soundtrack too. I like the little whistles that you hear. Like, I love that stuff.
Yeah, and that was one thing because I remember getting a copy of it when my brother basically got it loaned to him by a friend of his, and I completed it within a day, believe it or not. I did all the tracks, got all the bonus characters and everything, and saved it on his memory card for his GameCube. And then eventually his friend was selling it, so he ended up buying it afterwards. But what was your experience with the game? Did you complete it? Did you play it up on completion, or?
Yeah, I did. It was one of those summer games. It's one of those games you get one summer, and when it's too hot outside or you're really bored, you just play the hell out of it. That was one of my games. Mario Kart Double Dash and Mario Sunshine those were my summer games that year.
So let's go on to Mr. Travis Goss then. Travis, what was your experience with Mario Kart Double Dash?
The first time I ever played it, at the time, it was a game rental. I didn't actually own a copy of Mario Kart Double Dash, but I rented it, and I thought that was kind of peculiar how, it's like Xander said, that this is the first and, the only Mario Kart game where you had two characters in one kart, and they both held an item.
Yeah.
And
that was another thing as well. I loved it. Well, when I would literally sometimes legitimately crash my cart so I could watch the other character like sliding off the back. I know it was being an ass, but I did like doing that. Especially if Mario Kart was on the back. Mario was on the back. I just like watch his knees scrape on the floor and him going, oh.
Well, that is awesome. Because there's some of those items that, like, if you throw a bomb, or maybe like the Mario Brothers would throw their fireballs.
Yeah.
They hit the enemies, and they throw the person in the back off the car, and they're like being dragged, and they make the funniest sounds.
Yeah, it always made me laugh every time that happened, because every time someone would get hurt, and I would always go to my go-to guys again on Double Dash, of course, Koopa Trooper and Toad. And it was, it was one of my favourite of the Mario Kart series, because I felt it was innovative. I think it perfected nearly everything that the game had. All those fine qualities that made the game playable in a sense. And I thought it brought the game back to prominence. So what about you, Craig? What was your opinion on this?
On Double Dash?
Yes.
I thought it brought the Mario Kart series into the next level, and being a reason to get a GameCube, because GameCube really didn't have that many games that didn't have that many games that were just for GameCube. So this was definitely a reason to get it.
Losing.
Huh?
I'm losing here on Mario Kart 8. Yeah, go on. So basically, I'm talking and I'm losing. I can't multitask.
Yeah, Mario Kart Double Dash, definitely. The graphics were really awesome. I thought the game was really a lot of fun, and it was more Mario Kart to me, and it was a lot like the DS version. So I actually played that more.
So let's move on from that one then, and go to our next Mario Kart in the franchise, of course, and that is the very lovely Mario Kart DS. So let's talk about that. Actually, before we do, Ollie, what was your Double Dash experience?
Never played it. Never on the GameCube. I avoided that console like the plague.
Ouch.
I'm sorry, but it just... There were far superior consoles out at the time. It just seemed like a massive waste of money. and the amount of games out for it were so limited. It just felt like I'd be investing in a failing ship.
Yeah, it really was.
But you missed out on some great titles on
I
the
probably
game.
did, and I massively regret it. But I mean, they're still about. I can play on my emulators. Yeah, I should probably not say that.
Emulator, very naughty word. So let's move on from that then to Mario Kart DS, aka Mario Kart DS, which is a 2005 racing game developed by, published by Nintendo, and released for the Nintendo DS handheld game console. November 14th, 2005 on North America, November 17th, 2005 in Australia, and of course November 25th, 2005 in Europe, and December 8th, 2005 in Japan, and on April 7th, 2007 in South Korea. The game was the 5th installment of the Mario Kart series, and was the first to be playable via the Wi-Fi connection. Like other games in the series, Mario Kart DS features characters from the Mario series and pits them against each other in karts track-based locations. And the game was very well received, receiving an aggregated score of 91%. For the focused on the game's graphics and gameplay, the criticism targeted the repetitive single-player mode, and received several awards, including Editor's Choice Award on GameSpot, IGN, and G40's Best Handheld Game Award in IGN's Best Racing Driver Game and Game of the Year. And it was also one of the best-selling games on the Nintendo DS as of March 2013, selling over 23.34 million copies worldwide. So let's go to Xander. Xander, what's your experience?
With Mario Kart on the Wii?
Yes. No, Mario Kart DS.
That was actually my first DS game I ever got.
Ooh,
I
cool.
got actually when I first got my DS, I got the Fire Red Mario Kart DS with it. I wish I still had it. I don't have it anymore, but it was like, the first DS's, and it was a red one, and it had its own like little string thing that you hook up to it, like the little things that you put on your wrist. I forgot what they're called. The lanyards, yeah. It had a lanyard on it, and it was like a checkered lanyard with a Mario on his Mario Kart little icon thing on it. It was like a little charm. It was really cool.
Oh, what happened to it?
I ended up having to sell it.
Aww.
Well, it wasn't too bad, because when I did sell it, I needed the money, but at the same time I had just gotten a DS Lite, and I was just like, and I got two DS's, and I need money, so I went ahead and sold that one, and it happens.
Very true. So, do you still own the game now?
No, I don't. I don't have Mario Kart DS anymore. Wish I still did, because that game's still freaking ridiculous. It's it's still like a $30 game.
Yeah.
It's an exquisite game as well. I remember getting it because my brother actually bought my ex-wife a DS for her birthday, and it was basically so that she could play a few Mario games. And I remember she was playing at that time with my daughter, my first daughter, and he got the DS, got a Super Mario, what was it, Super Mario DS, I believe it was, and then went and got a Super Mario Kart DS as well with it, and he got himself one as well, I believe. And she enjoyed it. She used to play it. It actually started my obsession with toilet gaming, believe it or not.
Nothing like throwing a Brad Cooper shell while dropping the deuce.
Yeah, it was literally that. Every time I wanted to play the game, I'd be sitting on the toilet, and that game would give me some numb legs. It was very highly addictive.
Yeah.
You'd have to get off the toilet, and you basically couldn't get up to wipe your ass because the blood flow was only just returning to your legs. And it was a fun game. I enjoyed it, and I remember playing it more than she did half the time. She was like, "Can I have my DS back?" "No, I'm on the toilet, woman. Give me a break." But it was fun. It was a very, very enjoyable game, and something that I still hold dear today, and I still have it for my little one's DS at the moment, so it's one of my favourite DS games to play. Now, going on from that, let's go to your experience, Michael. What's your experience with the game?
Mario Kart DS, I still own it. One of the games I played the most on the DS by far. But I think if anyone remembers playing the online with it, the only two problems with that was everyone's kart, because you could design the front, had a penis on it. And,
oh yes, I remember that.
And the whole staking issue online as well. That was just infuriating, because like with Mario Kart 8 now you can do your drift, and like you can only do it on corners. On Mario Kart DS you could drift anywhere and just constantly boost. And it just made it so unfair.
Xander, do you even drift?
Oh yeah. You know, actually, I can honestly say too that Mario Kart DS is probably one of the first games that I played online as well.
Yeah, it's probably my first Nintendo Network game.
Yeah,
Sure.
Mine too, actually. So what about you, Craig? Did you have it on the DS?
Yeah, I had it on the DS. I didn't really play it online though. This was just one of those games that I like to play like single player. For all the Mario Kart games, this is probably the one I played alone the most, you know. And I got to play through the whole campaign or whatever, the 50cc, 100cc races and stuff, and got to know the ins and outs of one player games so well. I think it would have been fun to play it multiplayer, but I didn't really do that. I don't think I had Wi-Fi at the time.
Okay. What about you, Travis?
Actually, I've had 2 copies of it. The first time I actually had a copy of Mario Kart DS, it was a used copy. It's because I was married at the time and the wife was spending all my money. But anyways, I ended up getting a used copy, which I was on a bus trip to go up to my family's house one time, and somebody stole it.
Oh. Yeah, it sucks. Doesn't it suck to lose? Have somebody steal a game console, like a handheld or something?
No, they didn't steal the game console. They sold the game. Somebody saw me playing it, and I went to put it down so I can grab a different cartridge. Next thing you know, snatched. Wow.
That's why I never play games on the bus, because I was always going to freaking sit there looking at you.
Yeah. But anyways, and this past Christmas, my family asked me, "So Travis, what do you want for Christmas?" Like, well, I really want these Mario Kart games, because I'm trying to rebuild get the collection built up, and because I'm such a huge fan. I said I'd like to get Mario Kart DS, and I want to also get Mario Kart 7. And lo and behold, I got them, and lo and behold, I finished them.
Oh, that's really nice of them.
Yeah, they're good people. They really are.
Yeah, they are. So, your experience on it, do you think it was actually a far better game?
Well, it was really cool because this was the first DS game that I know of at the time that ran a full 60 frames per second. It was Mario Kart 64 with a pulse. It was faster. Mm-hmm. It was more entertaining, and this was actually the second Mario Kart game that had retro levels in it.
Yes,
I think yes. But I just thought it was an awesome game. I still think it's pretty cool right now. And I think if anybody has a Nintendo DS or a 3DS, they owe it to themselves to get this.
Yeah, it's actually purely one of my favorite games on the DS.
I love the dual screen. Like, I forgot to mention this, but like you could actually see the map and all the stuff that's going on the bottom screen while you play the game. I thought that was a great innovation.
Yeah. No, I agree totally. It was one of those where I think with the game itself, it allowed it to maximize everything that was strong previous incarnations of the Mario Kart games. Mm-hmm. And something that I think Nintendo did rather well, and we are going to talk about that a little bit, about the great aspects of these games. Now, let's move on from that quite quickly to the Mario Kart Wii, which everybody wanted to talk about this. If you had a Wii, you know that you would have to buy Mario Kart. It was one of those must-buys, My brother actually purchased his Wii with the game and the Mario Kart steering wheel, which I still have. And I gave it to Oliver to play this game, and he was like, "What the fuck is this shit?" It is one of those games where it's extremely, extremely fun. I mean, totally. For me, it was the first games I introduced my kids to in terms of the Wii game, something that I knew that they could play and enjoy, you know. And it was also something that me and the ex-wife would play constantly. You know, some of our go-to games were House of the Dead Overkill and Mario Kart Wii. And I remember when I was modifying my Wii as well to sort of play like games off a hard drive, it was one of the first games that I actually popped onto the hard drive as well, because I wanted it was one of my favourites, and I didn't want to damage the disc, you know. So I loaded a lot of my my games onto a hard drive, and that was one of the first ones I did. And I experimented, I played on it, I enjoyed it, and it was just so well done. You know, it did everything right from the first games. I know a lot of people, and Steve Benway was saying to me, like, I hate the steering wheel control. You know,
that thing is stupid. I hate that thing.
I loved it. I'm the only dude who did you just do a "you go girl" there thing? You went,
Yeah. That is the steering wheel was a novel idea, but it did not work. Exactly.
Did you just blow raspberries?
You must have a sound.
Yes, I did. I hate that steering wheel.
Why did people hate the steering wheel?
It was unresponsive.
Exactly. Thank you.
Dude, I'd always come first in my races with that steering wheel.
Because you're just a bad driver. Man, an unresponsive controller cannot make you worse.
I'm a hardcore gamer. I use the gamepad when I play the game because I get a lot more response from that than a stupid hunk of plastic in the shape of a steering wheel.
I felt it was a noble idea in my
noble idea, yes, but no.
I use the Kinect.
Craig, I mean, you're a freaking great programmer, or you're just great at sarcasm. Anyway, Dan, what about you? What was your experience with the game? And were you like Travis? Did you just hate the controls?
I wasn't a fan of the steering wheel controls. I'm gonna try it with Mario Kart 8 to see if it's any better.
Nope.
But
no,
you know, just to say I've tried it. But one thing I really liked about the Mario Kart on the Wii was the introduction of the motorcycles.
Oh yes, the motorcycles.
Yeah.
The motorcycles. Because I love
the nickel.
I really like I really like the drive with the motorcycle, so that was really cool.
That is pretty much a go-to vehicle. I was seeing you on there. You're just like freaking zipping off in that bloody thing. I could barely catch up with you when you're on a motorcycle.
The idea, it adds a little bit more variation to the game.
But the thing is, you had to work for it on that game. You know, you couldn't play it off the bat. You'd have to work for the motorcycles, for the privilege to actually use them. You know, because they weren't unlockable. But the one thing as well, had my first experience in terms of playing the game online with people with an online functionality, which even though Smash Brothers proved that the online functionality on the Wii was kind of incompetent, Mario Kart was actually kind of the reverse, you know. But it also, the worst thing about it was online modding. The amount of people that played that freaking game with the ocarina on so they could have Bullet Bill on constantly did my bloody nutting. Did you guys play that online?
I played it online for a bit, but that was the reason I stopped.
Yeah, because they would just play it constantly with the Bullet Bill, and you wouldn't even get a fair sort of shot at them anymore. They would just play it and you know, use the Bullet Bill constantly to the point where I can, or even the freaking blue shell, every time I got in front, blue shell, blue shell, blue shell. It was a nightmare. So let's ask about experiences now. Travis, what was your experience with the game, apart from the steering wheel functions?
Oh, that was pretty cool. I mean, this is the first one that it wasn't in HD, but it wasn't widescreen. I mean, graphically, it's a little bit better than Double Dash, because even though it was technically the same hardware.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a lot of fun. Introduced, like I said, the dirt bikes in the game.
Yeah, the abundance of characters as well.
Oh man, a huge roster we had this time around too.
Yeah. And it was the first time you could play a Mii.
Yeah. Well, of course, because that was the first system.
Even though there was shit, I could play a Mii. Has anyone ever successfully completed that game playing their Mii?
No. I have.
How the hell did you find the steering in that?
not too bad. I mean,
Yeah.
everything was about the same as Mario's, in my opinion, but I handled it pretty well.
What about you, Xander? Did you play as you me? Xander? I can't hear him. He's probably just gone away for a second. What about you, Craig? What was your opinion of this game? Did you enjoy it? Craig?
Craig left.
Oh, he left.
Okay.
Okay.
Work.
Oh, sorry. Michael, what about you?
Mario Kart on the Wii. Yeah, I played quite a bit of the single player. The same issues with you with multiplayer. As soon as people start hacking it, no chance of going back to that. But I don't know, with the motorbikes, I don't know what it is. I think it's because I consider myself as a Mario Kart purist and connoisseur. But I sort of had a go with them and never went back. I've just got so used to using the kart. It's same with Mario Kart 8, I hardly use the motorbikes. But yeah, all around, great game. Another top Mario Kart.
And that's still thinking about that game. It's one of those where it was very highly addictive. Again, it was something that was always one of my go-to games when I was doing party games with people on the Wii. You know, I could sit there as 4-player local and just enjoy myself. And I used to play a lot of the online co-op until the whole modding issue. And Nintendo never sort of kept that on a tight leash. It was one of the things that I had an issue with because I felt they could have really done a lot more with it. But they just failed to monitor these nutcases going on there and playing their odd, modded weapons or modded blue shells all the freaking time. It got really bad. And, it didn't sour my ability on the game, but it did sour me in terms of online play. So, let's focus now on the sales of this game, basically. Let's focus on the fact that this game, what the sales were made and how this game was played. Now, Mario Kart Wii, which was called Mario Kart Wii, it's the 6th installment of the Mario Kart series of games developed and published by Nintendo for the Wii video game console and was announced at E3 2007 and was President Reggie Fils' aim. The game was released worldwide throughout April 2008 and 1 year later in South Korea. Like the predecessor, Mario Kart Wii incorporates playable characters from the Mario series and participates kart races on various racetracks using specialized single-player formats and multiplayer games, and also the online via Nintendo Wi-Fi connection was available at launch and discontinued and on May 20th, 2014, along with all other Wii and Nintendo DS games, and also the support of online play. Mario Kart Wii takes advantage of the Wii Remote's motion sensors and provides intuitive, conventional steering controls. Each game is bundled with a Wii Wheel, an accessory, and an augment its feature traditional control schemes and also support. So, Ollie, your experience
of Mario Kart Wii?
Mm-hmm.
Never owned a Wii. No, it's again. No.
Yeah, you have played it.
I have played it.
But
do you know what?
I'm waiting for a but.
No, it was an okay game. To be honest, I preferred the DS version. Mm-hmm. The bikes in it were not really refined. The only difference between bikes and karts were bikes were slightly faster, but harder to handle, which is a novel idea. But I don't know, it didn't feel smooth. Did
you feel that the bikes themselves were novel ideas, Ander? Did you feel that you had fun with the bikes?
I mean, yeah. I mean, that's one of the reasons why it's my go-to on Mario Kart 8. I thought it was just cool. I'm more of I like motorcycles anyway, so I don't know. When I played it, I was like, man, this feels like like Super Hang-On or something. I don't know. I've always liked the bikes.
No, Mario Kart 8, the bike is a go-to now because it balances out the characters a lot more.
Okay, so let's move on then from the Wii version to an updated version, of course, Mario Kart 7 on Nintendo 3DS. Xander, what's your experience with that?
I thought it was really cool in the fact that it introduced that little glider.
Oh, yeah.
What about the game itself? Because you could customize your kart this time around.
Right.
And it was a different sort of style of game, wasn't it? It was you could actually go around and change the wheels on the kart. You could change the glider, which is the addition on there, and you could also change the kart that you were using to a more specialized version. And a lot of this style was actually taken from Mario Kart GP and GP2 on the arcade systems, which were done by Namco Bandai. A lot of the levels, a lot of the character designs as well, and also the integration of some of the tools off of that game. Even though the arcade games, the reason why I haven't talked about them too much is because of the fact that the arcade game itself was kind of, it was more sort of a cash cow rather than an actual Mario Kart arcade, Mario Kart iteration, if that makes sense. You know, but it did all that, and it made a certain difference to the game as well, because the levels were really sort of clean and precise. The character models shone a lot more, and the graphics was amazing. And the first time I played it, believe it or not, was at Play Blackpool. Never played it on the 3DS because I only received my 3DS this Christmas, and that was from my good friend Sean Walker, of course. Shout out to Sean, who basically helped me by selling me his 3DS so I could repair it and you know, get that game. But I'm totally going to get Mario Kart 7 as soon as I can afford to. So let's ask you then, Travis. What was your experience with the game? There's Travis gone missing.
On here.
Right, go on. What was your experience with Mario Kart 7?
Actually, my first experience was last year when I actually rented it from GameFly.
No.
And of course, you know, when you rent games from GameFly, especially if it's on a 3DS Kart, somebody already beaten in and found everything, so I just went in, I erased everything and started fresh. And having a 3D turned on this thing really was breathtaking, especially to the point where that classic blooper weapon was used and squirts of ink. That was really awesome in 3D. It actually felt like your face was actually being splattered by it. And the graphics in this game were, I mean, it was GameCube quality graphics, and the controls were very responsive. Very nice tracks in this game, and then I love the part about the gliding as well. That was also one of the coolest things. You can actually race underwater. This was the first game that you can race underwater without drowning or anything like that. It was pretty sweet. And it's just an awesome, awesome game. I mean, I could wax fantastic about this for hours, but it's just a great, great game.
Okay, what about yourself, Michael?
Mario Kart 7 for me. I mean, I was an early adopter of 3DS, bought my 3DS day one, and once again Mario Kart 7 were another game that was day one purchase, not even thinking about it. And for me, it's a game I still play today. I mean, the whole past week getting ready for Mario Kart 8, it's practically all I've done is, when I've had time to game, was play Mario Kart 7 online with a bunch of people. The game is another obviously great addition to the franchise, great selection of characters. Like everyone else has said, like the graphics were on par with the GameCube and 3D worked well. And the addition to the customization and things as well, I think, really helped Mario Kart like go that next step further and like brought it forward into a game that's worth carrying on in the franchise.
Yeah.
So, yeah, probably my favourite Mario Kart so far as well.
Wow. Yeah, no, I agree wholeheartedly. It was at the time one of my favourites until, of course, Mario Kart 8 was released. Now, Oliver, what about yourself? Have you played Mario Kart 7 on 3DS?
I did play it. Again, graphics great. The gameplay was great. Again, I got to use Bowser, which any game with I can race Bowser is awesome. Just small little things like, I know it's nice to have nostalgic tracks, but reusing the same tracks just feels a bit lazy. I know that they've been changed to actually allow with the glider and the underwater side of things. But again, just, yeah, that's about my only gripe.
Okay. So I'm going to do a little bit of a breakdown on there as well. So let's let the breakdown commence. Mario Kart 7, okay, Mario Kart 7 is a 2011 racing video game, the seventh major installment of the Mario Kart series, developed by Nintendo EAD and Retro Studios, and it was published by Nintendo for the 3DS system. Similar to the previous games in the series, players participate in go-kart racing in various Mario-themed tracks, and also 17 different Mario characters. While racing, the player makes use of the power-up items that hinder the opposing characters. With new additions to the game, included gliding, attachments for the karts, the ability to drive underwater, and ability to fully customize the vehicle's builds, and supports both local and online multiplayer for up to 8 players. It was released worldwide in December 2011, and it's in the second 3DS game to sell over 5 million units, with the exception of Super Mario 3D Land, of course, and announced they would re-release the game along with some of their earlier published games for Nintendo DS via downloadable in the Nintendo eShop. It was released on the October 4th, 2012 in PAL region, October 18th, 2012 in North America, November 1st, 2012 in Japan, and sold at least 9.35 million copies as of December 2013. And it's the second best-selling 3DS game of all time, behind Pokemon X and Y. So now we go to the piece de resistance, of course, the amazing game known as Mario Kart 8. So let's basically go into the whole semantics about this game. I've explained my stories and the reason why I wanted to play this game. Let's ask the panel here what their experience is with it. So Xander, what's your experience with Mario Kart 8?
I've only had it for 24 hours, but the 24 hours I've had, it's been very, very fulfilling. I hadn't played my Wii U since Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, so it was nice to boot it up and be, badgered with a million updates. But I'm really liking it. I think it's the title that people that's owned a Wii U have really been looking forward to it.
So what about you, Michael?
Yeah, I totally agree with what Xander just said. I mean, for me, my Wii U, apart from Zelda, has been a Monster Hunter machine, and this has finally given me a reason to sit and play the Wii U. I've definitely got to say, graphics-wise, it holds up with something next-gen on PS4 and Xbox One at the moment. It's a gorgeous game, runs perfectly. The online have had no flaws whatsoever, and it just brings back Mario Kart. So I can't really say one bad thing about it.
What about you, Travis?
This has got to be the most gorgeous Mario Kart game that has ever been released. I mean, if you watch my Let's Play video of Mario Kart 8 Part 1, for like the whole episode, I'm just gushing about it because it is so goddamn beautiful.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. It's gorgeous, isn't it?
Does everyone
really
agree that this is probably the nicest looking game Nintendo's ever made?
It's only you know what? I was only going to say only second to Super Mario 3D World, but you know what? I think you're right. This could be the best one they've ever put out for the system.
Well, let me ask you guys a question. What do you think about the gliding and hovering system? Because they've implemented this weird system where you can literally hover on like the side of tracks and literally above tracks. You can glide to certain aspects of the karts as well. It still retains the underwater feature. You've got new customizable systems with the karts as well, and all these tons of new characters.
It's weird though, the hovering. It's kind of strange why they would put that in there, but at the same time, it makes me want a new F-Zero game so bad.
Oh yeah.
And they've also got the implementation of Mario Kart TV, and one thing I've seen Xander use a lot, the YouTube upload feature.
Oh yeah. Which uses just the highlights of a race, which I've actually used twice already myself.
I've used it about 6 times. Oliver was getting really pissed off about like, can you stop doing that? It's wasting time. The internet connection's being used up.
It just does take a long time between. That's probably the only downside, but then that's YouTube.
Yeah.
I do like the fact that it automatically does tags too.
Yeah, it does.
You notice that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It automatically puts itself in there, doesn't it? It doesn't, it will automatically tag you in certain, tag the game and certain elements. Plus, Nintendo haven't filed a copyright claim yet, which is great.
It's funny though because I actually would steal some of those tags and put it in my Let's Play video. See if that might help a little bit.
So, what do you guys overall like the quality of the game? Do you think it's the best Mario Kart game they've ever made?
Yes, 1,000 times yes.
I think it's bang on par with Mario Kart 7.
What about you, Xander? Do you find that the game itself is made itself a very high quality contender here? Because I believe there is estimation that it's outsold previous and could be one of the highest selling games on the Wii U. You know.
I think it's definitely one of the best Mario Karts. I wouldn't say it's the best of all time because I mean it's still kind of new. You know, you can ask me this question about 2 weeks later, and I can answer that. You know.
Yeah, for me, it's replay value. I've got to see if this game has replay value. At the moment, it has it in spades. Like me and Oliver are sitting there trying to play the same tracks over and over, trying to win certain races because we're getting destroyed here at the moment.
You are. Don't put me down.
Okay, I won't bring you down to my level.
Don't bring me down, Bruce.
But the game itself, it's like I'm enjoying the single player modes. I'm enjoying the multiplayer modes. You know, I like the fact that you can actually engineer a tournament and get a pin code, so you can only invite certain people to your tourneys. You know,
that's an old thing. That's been done on online games.
I know, but the fact it's never been implemented on this style of game, which is great.
It's not new. It's like when Apple goes, "Oh, we can now send picture messages." Phones have been doing that for years.
But it is a great little system, and it does get over that whole thing of people. Say if someone's got a modded game or a modded system, they can't cheat in your race because you can just boot them. You know, which is the great thing about it is, you know, I'm hosting the Happy Console Gamer Forum one at the moment, and I'm enjoying it. You know, it's one of those fun little games. We've had our intense kind of races, me and Xander as well, and it's a nice game where you can just jump in and play online. You know, it's kind of taken away the elements that Sonic Racers was annoying about, where I literally had to go through about 5 or 6 different things in order to play an online game with my friends. Where with this, all I've got to do is find where you are and jump in a game with you.
No, it's super quick.
Yeah, very quick.
Would people say this is now finally a reason to buy a Wii U if people weren't going to buy it already?
Yeah, I would agree. I really would agree, especially with the new bundles that they've got as well with this game. You've got like the Mario and Luigi bundle where you've got the special hat and the steering wheels and stuff. If I didn't already own a Wii U, I probably would have bought that bundle.
Yeah, I mean, I like the whole thing that they've done as well with you buy Mario Kart 8, you get one free game, and they're not just the crap games, they're all top titles.
Yeah, they're all top titles that have been released quite recently as well. You know, they're not games that are basically like bargain basement in a sense. There you go, I got second place, alright. And it's highly enjoyable, highly addictive. I could see, literally, if I wasn't careful, I could see myself playing all night. We have to shoot an episode of Movie File, which I think we've got to get back to shooting after the show. And I was like, 1 more minute, just give me 1 more minute, just give me 1 more minute. And he was like, dude, if we get another 1 more minute, it's going to be tomorrow.
But that's the point. This game is brilliant if you're playing with a friend, brilliant if you're playing online.
Yeah.
Looks very, very boring if you're playing by yourself. It gets very frustrating. We completed the 50 and we're basically 150 on the 100 very quickly. The 150 might pose a challenge, but I don't know. Just on your own, this game has almost no value to me. You have to have someone else. It's the challenge of playing with someone else.
But I think it's one of those games that you could consider a party game, couldn't you?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so it's one of those that you would probably play with friends, with family, and with those around you. Like so for me, I think this is an ideal game for guys like me and Xander who've been waiting to play a game together for ages. Do you know what I mean? On our Wii U's, we've been waiting to actually have a game where we can actually sit down and just jump into it without having any kerfuffle, in a sense. And I'm enjoying it. For this, and it's everything I've made this game out to be in my head as well. It's literally brought to me in spades. And I find it amazing. Anybody who likes the game, who loves the Mario Kart franchise, I would assure you, check it out. You won't be disappointed. And it is, for me, would be probably one of the number one reasons to buy a Wii U. If not for this game, for the downloadable game that you'll get with it as well.
Yes.
And the replay value. And this is the thing, and this is always what I've said to people. The one thing for me is replay value of a game. It needs to have something that could be worth the price I paid for it. And this game is definitely worth the price that I paid. And I paid like £60 for this game. And that was the special edition variation of it. Because I at least wanted one special edition of the Mario Kart franchise. Because I wanted one iteration of it. I didn't want to, end up with a variation of the game that I didn't get for special edition. I didn't want to pay £40 for the game alone. I wanted other stuff to make it memorable, and I've definitely got that with the game, the T-shirt, and and as I said, after all my troubles with trying to get my copy I pre-ordered previously, Nintendo have managed to sort of make my day with the fact that I've got these extra little additions to it as well. It means I can actually give my my copy, because I've got the download copy, to my kids, so that they can actually play the game with me online, or we can play together when I go to their place. So it's actually quite fun, and it's one of those things where I think it's a nice treat, and it also allows me to bring everything that I held special about the Mario Kart franchise and pass it on to them. So guys, what's your experience? What's your opinion of this game? Because I want to know from you, from the fans, from every person out there who's enjoyed this game and who's had their experience. Let us know. You can either make a YouTube video and post it on our Facebook page, facebook.com/IGotGameplay. You could tell us on Twitter by sending us a tweet, or you could basically let us know via, of course, by giving us a call on our later shows. And that now brings us to the final part of our show, which is the plugs. So, gents, Xander, we'll start with you. Plug away.
Well, I host a video game podcast as well called Access Gaming Podcast, and you guys can listen to us on Podomatic.com. We're also on iTunes. You can also catch a couple of different episodes on YouTube. And speaking of YouTube, I have a YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/XanderScullion. You can also check me out on Twitter. That's Access Gaming Podcast on Twitter. Instagram, Xander308. And you can also see all my stuff on the Retro and Limb Network and on the Nerd Genius.
Of course. Travis?
Yes. You can find me on YouTube. We got a couple of channels. We got youtube.com/RoseCardReviews and youtube.com/RoseCardLet'sPlay. Did Mario Kart 64, Super Mario Kart, and then wrapped up Mario Kart Double Dash with a really bad episode with that, but it was still kind of funny. And today I actually released my first episode of Mario Kart 8, and it's going to be quite a few parts in this one, because I'm going to try to go into as much as I can. And just want to throw this out to the panel before I wrap up my plugs. Do you guys think I should do the entire game in terms of like for all the different classes, or just stick to the 50 cc's? What do you think?
I would say go with as you feel, mate. If it gains a following, keep going. If if people don't want to see more, then just go stick with the 50 cc's.
Okay, fair enough.
Let the fans decide.
Yes.
It does. The game does become a whole different entity on the high difficulties.
But I do think we need to do a nice little Let's Play video of everyone playing together. Maybe that should be your final Rose Colored Let's Plays on this. Do one where we're all together, basically having a race.
Sounds like a plan to me. Alright, and then, so that launched, and of course, you can find me here on the Retro Unlim Network via blogtalkradio.com on Thursday nights with... What's that?
I said, damn you, Yoshi, you hit me with a tortoise shell.
But anyways, Thursday nights, I have my own podcast, which is the On Radio Show, which I have a bunch of really cool people on here. Got Michael Burhan, Craig Kellerman, my second right-hand man on the show, and Jeremy McDougall, Zach Noon, and of course the Dame Courtney. We talk about the craziest news stories, get on some really interesting rants, and play some awesome music. And that's the On Radio Show, Thursday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, right here in the Retro On Them Network on blogtalkradio.com. If you want to get a hold of me personally, I got a Twitter handle, which is TravisScott79, Facebook.com/RoseCardReviews, and you can find my videos that I post from YouTube on my Let's Play channel on the Nerd Genius, as well as RetroOnThem.com.
And he's also a member now of the Full Screen Network.
Yes, thank you for reminding me. This past Tuesday, Rose Card Play was picked up by Full Screen, so I am now affiliated with the network. So
Yes, you are.
I'm pretty stoked about that.
And Michael, what about you?
As for me, you can find me on firstly Facebook, which is Michael Moosh Matthews. YouTube, you can find me at Moosh1512, and Twitch is also Moosh1512.
There you go, guys. And also check out the Pixels Without Borders forum on Facebook, which he is a member of. I'm a member of as well, and Van's a member of. It's a great place, great guys. I was on their podcast at one point as well, which was a very, very fun podcast, and they're talking with these awesome people about games and everything gaming related. So check that out, and also you can check out our Mario Kart 8 tourney, which if you basically search the tournament pages and check out the Happy Console tourney, and you can join us on there. You'll need to either leave a message on the I Got Gameplay Facebook page, facebook.com I Got Gameplay, or come search for us on Pixels Without Borders or Happy Console Gamer Forum via Facebook, and just need to get my permission. I'll give you the code if I think you're worthy. So yes, make sure you check it out, guys. I Got Gameplay, 8 p.m. every Saturday, of course, and check out all this and everything else on the Nerd Genius. As always, on the Retro On Them Network, Mondays is the awesome show of John Latimer's Desert Island Discs, which we need to get you on an episode, Xander. I think you would enjoy.
Oh, yeah.
You would really enjoy that. I think we should get you on there. On Tuesdays, you have Miguel Leon, the Untitled Movie Show, and also Clint Davis's show, the All Sports Show with Clint Davis. It's replacing XFI for now. XFI will make its return eventually once the September rush happens. You can also check out on Wednesdays the Top Tier Game Reviews with Jeremy McDougall and Travis Goss and Craig Kellerman. You can also check out Thursdays, the On Radio Show with Travis, Craig, myself, and also Dame Courtney. And Fridays is the awesome debut of Slamcast happening this Friday. It's now every Friday, 8 p.m. EST on the Retro On Them Network, followed by the Rudy J. Ferretti Show, which happens at 11 p.m. EST with the awesome Rudy J. Ferretti. He talks about stuff that matters to him, and also gaming related stuff and more stuff. Saturdays I Got Gameplay, of course, 8 p.m. every Saturday. Sundays is the Retro Renaissance podcast, the theatre with Nathan Mercier, of course, Stage with Style, and the Interfactual with the awesome and I can't remember his name, William Priest. There you go, William Priest. And you have to forgive me, guys, my brain is going on shutdown. So check out those shows as well. And as always, guys, this is Michael Burhan for Travis Goss, for Michael Matthews, for Craig Kellerman, for Zach Latour, who disappeared and we don't know where he's gone, and for everybody else, saying, we've got gameplay. Have you? And Oliver Hughes, of course. Again, we got gameplay. Have you?